Sassy. Well, greetings and salutations, everybody in the studio joke. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every single day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world: movies, movie news, TV, streaming, all sorts of good things. Sitting over here feeling sassy is Mr. Robert Meyer-Burnett. Robert, how you doing today, sir?
I'm feeling really sassy today, John. Really sassy.
And right beside him, unfortunately for her, is Chris Carr. Chris, how you doing?
I'm good. I've never been sassy once. Not ever in my life.
No.
Not even one time.
Always been, I always forget her name. That's always been Denicio.
That's Denicio. Christy Denicio.
It's never Chris. It's Christy Denicio. Sitting over here, of course, joining you guys in the live chat, it's Ray Ora. Ray, how you doing?
Hey, did you guys see the 2 trailers?
Oh, they were both so good. We're going to talk about both of them. And of course, running the show today, producer Jonathan Voico. Jonathan, good to have you here.
Sass right here.
It's true.
I can tell.
And still no freezing of the frame.
No,
it's a good day.
New camera, it moves.
And it is a good day to have you guys here. Thanks for joining us here today, guys. We got a bunch of stuff we're going to talk about, and here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to break it up into 2 parts. In the first half of the show, we're going to talk about some predetermined topics. Then in the second half of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. Here's how you get a live comment or question on. Number 1, you got to be watching the show live. Number 2, once we get to the end of our main topics, I'm going to announce that we're opening up the super chats, and you guys will have 2 minutes to fire them in because they do fill up really fast. So try to make sure you have your comment, question, thought, opinion, or whatever all ready to go. And we'll do that then. Also, a little bit of housekeeping. Want to remind you guys that if you need your daily fix of the John Campea Show, you can't be in front of a YouTube video. Maybe you're jogging on the treadmill or whatever. Good news. There's an audio-only version of the show that we creatively call the John Campea Show podcast. Just go onto your favorite podcasting app of choice, search for the John Campea Show, subscribe to that today. And by the way, while you're at it, there's another podcast feed that's just for mailbag. So make sure you go and check that out as well and subscribe to it too. And guys, hey, it's been a couple of weeks. Family health emergencies that I had to leave the country for. Rob had COVID, and we are trying to get everything together. But today, it's the return of the king. That's right, Movie Club returns today. So today at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that's Los Angeles time. You guys figure that out, whatever it is that time zone is for you. We will be getting together to talk about and celebrate the final film in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Return of the King. Make sure you guys come and join us for that. All right, guys. With all that down, let's get into some stuff here. We're going to start with an off the top, and the first one is this. You know, today is game day.
Game day.
Double game day today, as a matter of fact, because a little bit later tonight for us in Los Angeles, at midnight, we got not 1, but we've got 2. First time ever. Premium Disney Plus shows dropping at the same time. Obviously, we got episode number, what are we at now? Number 4? Episode 4. For Obi-Wan, I forgot how many they launched with. They launched with 2, right? And then we did 3. Now we got 4. So Obi-Wan, episode 4 tonight. But also, it's the launch of the new Marvel Disney Plus show, Ms. Marvel. Now, of course, this show already won the victory by casting a good Canadian girl. Iman, what's Iman's last name? I keep forgetting her.
Bowie.
What's that? Bowie. No. But a good Canadian girl to play Ms. Marvel. So they already won the victory. That's it. You send them the Emmys now. They win. But they released the first trailer, had that John Hughes 80s style, like even more so than the Spider-Man trailers did, I thought. And it looks really charming and delightful. It looked nice. But how is it? Well, the first reactions and reviews are now officially out. And the word is very good. As of right now, Ms. Marvel is holding a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes for its season 1. And that's not just with 2 or 3 reviews strength. That's with over 50 already. And it's holding a 96%. And the first reviews and reactions have started coming out from it. I want to read off a couple of these now. Let's see here. I got Alex Maddie, who wrote the following. He said, Ms. Marvel has landed hold on a second. Why is this not working for me? There we go. Ms. Marvel has landed a star in Iman Vellani, by the way, has landed a star in Iman Vellani, who has the same charm and wit that makes Tom Holland a great Spider-Man. The series has some intriguing ideas being set up for a unique look, but it feels a bit stretched just to fill a TV episode count. So that's getting that. Like, everybody's loving her, but I heard from a couple of people that maybe this should have been a movie instead of a TV series. But the overall review is rated great. Jack McBrien writes, Iman is fantastic. She's relatable, likable, funny, everything you'd want in Kamala. Jersey City feels alive in a way that no other location in the MCU has been, has a life similar to New York City in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies. The supporting cast is killer. Every member of Kamala's family is great. Their dynamic makes the show. I think Kamala's friends, Nakia, will be a fan favorite. For people uncertain about her power changes, Kamala's insecurities are still represented through her powers. Anyway, it goes on and on and on. Everybody just raving about the show, particularly Iman Vellani, saying that she will capture your heart. She will carry this show. And I think that was a big question mark going into it, because a lot of people, obviously, whenever you bring in a brand new name and a brand new face that nobody has ever seen, we've got no litmus test, we've got no standard to judge it against. We've never seen her. So, and we weren't in the casting rooms. We weren't in the 5 different rounds she had to go through. We don't know. So whenever they cast somebody new, for us, naturally as an audience, there's a little bit of apprehension. It's like, well, what are we going to get with her? And then we're going to get the obvious, and we all do this. Does she look like the way I imagine Ms. Marvel would look? And all that kind of stuff, right? Well, everybody is saying she's fantastic in this. And a lot of comparisons to Tom Holland playing Spider-Man. Some people feel like, is there enough story to get through 6 episodes? They don't know yet. Some people are saying it's the best Marvel TV series we've had so far. Either way, whatever this ends up being, it's a positive thing to come out and hearing everybody kind of glowing about it. Like I said, last I checked, which was about an hour ago, it was at 96%. The Metacritic score is even more impressive with 80, which is even more impressive. So things are looking good for Ms. Marvel. Rob, I know you've been really interested in this show. Hearing the first reactions coming out, what's surprising you that you're hearing, and what are your expectations going into it?
Well, John, one of the things I've always said on the show is I love how Marvel has dipped into other kinds of genres. The 70s conspiracy thriller with Captain America. This seems to be, embracing the John Hughes-esque teen comedy drama, with a little bit of maybe Scott Pilgrim thrown in, or however it turns out. I mean, I having not seen it, I'm only assuming. And I think that's great. I think she looks, well, dare I say it, John, sassy. I thought I've seen her in the trailers, and I think she looks great as the character. And why this idea that comic books have to only strike one tone to be for one audience. I mean, if this is made for 16, 17-year-olds, people in junior high and high school, great. Again, good story, well told. I don't know what this is like at all, except what I've read in the reviews. But hey, they're taking a new direction. Kudos to them for not repeating themselves and doing something new. And she's I'm not going to say that she's cute or anything, because that would make me a weird old man. But I think she looks great.
Adorable.
She does. Okay, then fine. I'll say that. She looks adorable. I can say that without being, but I like the look of this character. Mm-hmm. And you know what else I liked? I saw on social media that she actually used to cosplay the actress.
I've seen it. Yeah. When she was younger, she would cosplay as Ms. Marvel.
Come on. Who doesn't love that story?
Yeah. Who doesn't love that?
I mean,
right?
I love that that's a Marvel through line, because you had Mackie, you had Holland, and now this.
There you go.
Manifest your dreams, kids.
Yes, man.
And by the way, I'm being reminded by or updated by people in the live chat that the Rotten Tomato score is no longer 96; it is now 98.
Woo-hoo!
Wow.
So it goes up. And by the way, I was reading Variety's review of it, and they loved it. But one of the things that they mentioned, he goes, "Sit down for this." Iman was 3 years old when Iron Man happened. When the MCU began, this character was 3. And now here she is starring in her own show. Anyway,
now I feel old.
Chris, what is standing out to you about a lot of the reactions we're hearing coming out of Ms. Marvel, and where's your expectation level right now?
Man, I am just happy about this. I am so chuffed about this. And I love how every time this happens, where is this newcomer going to be okay? Is this unknown actor going to be okay? Marvel's been doing this for a while, y'all. There were 2 little unknown actors that people weren't super keen on for Thor and Loki. And look at how that panned out, right? I remember that article coming out of Marvel bets on unknown. So we had that. We have Tom Holland, who didn't have a huge body of work at that time, right? It's the best actor for the role typically is cast. And Sarah Finn, who's the casting director for Marvel stuff, nails it. She always does a great job on this. So I'm super, super excited that people are loving her in the role because it'll live or die with him on. I also really, really am excited for the comedy and humor in this show. The writer and creator of this is Bisha K. Ali, who did Sex Education. She did the 4 Weddings and a Funeral series.
Which she did such a good job on that.
So good on that series. I loved that.
Sex Education's great.
It's such a good show. And she wrote episodes of Loki as well. So she's familiar with Marvel and the inner workings of that. And obviously she has a great relationship with the Marvel team. So I think this is all just ticking all the good boxes here.
Yeah, so just so you guys are aware, so tomorrow here on the John Campea Show, we're going to be doing our Obi-Wan open spoiler discussion at 4 p.m. And then I will be doing our Ms. Marvel open spoiler discussion at 7 p.m. Again, that is Los Angeles Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you guys come on by and join us for both of those. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, you've probably been like me. It's like, what are we getting with this Iman Vellani kid? We've never seen her before. Apparently, it's across the board. Everybody loves her in this character. They say she carries the show. What are your expectations right now for this series? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave us your thoughts. Now, only if they could go beyond 6 episodes and finally do something right. All right, with that down, guys, let's do one more off the top, and that is this. Not at the most recent CinemaCon that we were just at, like last month, but the previous one that Aaron Cummings and I went to. I got introduced to a movie that they showed us the first trailer for. We were the first people to see it for this little Brad Pitt film called Bullet Train. And we lost our minds for it. We just the trailer, we lost our mind. We're like, this is going to be incredible. It felt like a Guy Ritchie film, which of course Brad Pitt has done before with Snatch. God, he was so good in Snatch. So they had that kind of a feel to it, on a train, all this kind of stuff, looked great. Fast forward now to this most recent CinemaCon, and they showed us the first reel. They showed us, what was it, 15 minutes, 16 minutes? I can't remember. Like the first 15, 16, 20 minutes. I can't remember exactly. They showed us the first chunk of the film. And we lost our minds some more. We were all like, oh my God, this looks utterly fantastic. Cannot believe how good this looks. We were so excited, amped up, all this kind of stuff. Well, they just dropped a new trailer for it this morning. Bullet Train dropped their second trailer. And I got to say, it's better than the first. They showed some of the stuff that we saw, a bunch of stuff we hadn't seen before. I'm now actually starting to get the idea about what the story is.
Right.
Which is great. But still, it's still pretty vague. And all that. All I know, every single beat along the way, it's Brad Pitt interacting with some other massively colorful character. That is just awesome in its own right. Whether it's the girl in the seat 4B, whether it's Brian Tyree sitting with the counter in front of them while they're being shushed by a lady up the hall, whether it's a giant Japanese inflated character at the end. This thing looks so good. And all, again, I don't know if the movie's going to actually end up being good or not. All I can say is that the first act was pretty damn amazing, but I haven't seen anything beyond that. But this is looking pretty fantastic. Chris, you saw the new trailer for Bullet Train today. What did you think about it?
Oh, this just adds to my excitement level. I'm so hyped that other people are seeing more of what we got to see. Because at CinemaCon, y'all, we all had a collective, when they stopped playing it.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was so keyed in and wanted to keep watching this. And this all looks great. I'm so excited for the new things we saw. That inflatable Japanese character killed me. I can't wait to see what happens with that. But this looks so fun and so original and takes some of my favorite kind of films like Snatch, like a Scott Pilgrim, and like Edgar Wright sensibilities and mashes them all together into this delightfully violent and vibrant cornucopia that I am so stoked for.
I love that you brought up Edgar Wright because it does feel like a Guy Ritchie, Edgar Wright mashup that then the director of John Wick came along and directed, which is, by the way, it is being directed by the director of John Wick. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to see the new trailer. What do you think about it?
Looks like a hoot. You know, the characters, the interplay, right up my alley. I'm sure it just looks like it's a hell of a lot of fun. I mean, my only criticism is some of those exterior Bullet Train VFX shots. I mean, I understand they're a little cartoony. I think probably by design. That's ridiculous. I mean, you shouldn't complain about that. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying I've noticed it. But the whole movie has that pop manga. It's got an anime theme to it. And so it all works. I mean, I love the colors. I love the design of the characters. I love seeing like some Japanese warlord wearing some warlord mask. I mean,
And what does that have to do with Brad Pitt?
I don't know. I can't wait to find out. It looks like it's a heck of a lot of fun. All I can think about is I bet this is going to be a great 4K disc.
Ooh.
You know what I love? Like, there's that scene with Bad Bunny where Bad Bunny and Brad Pitt are fighting, and Bad Bunny goes, "I will never stop hunting you." And I just love Pitt's delivery of, "Dude, I don't even know you."
Yeah, I know.
It's like it's just I can do for 2 hours of that. I can absolutely do for 2 hours of that.
And we saw a little more Sandra Bullock too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, not more. We actually got to see her.
Exactly.
Like
Well,
they've never actually, we've always heard her voice in the previous stuff, right? But we never saw her. Even in the first 15, 20 minutes that we saw, we never actually saw her. We only ever heard her voice. So
I'm a huge fan of Sandra Bullock for, even before Speed.
Love potion number 9, baby.
I don't understand why she's not in the conversation more. I'm so glad she's having her year. She's got the
Lost City.
Lost City coming out and this coming out. It's Sandra Bullock's year. Good for all of us.
Well, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see the new trailer for Bullet Train? We loved it. What's your expectation level like? Are you excited for it? Maybe you're not. Maybe it doesn't look like your cup of tea. Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys. Before we roll into our main topics here today, we want to take a second and thank one of the sponsors of today's episodes, the good folks over at Liquid IV. We want to take a minute and thank the sponsors of this video, Liquid IV. Now listen, just one stick of Liquid IV added to 16 ounces of water will hydrate you faster and more efficiently than just water alone. It contains 5 essential vitamins like B3, B5, B6, B12, and of course vitamin C with 3 times the electrolytes as traditional sports drinks. And what makes Liquid IV so effective is the science of cellular transport technology, or CTT. You see, it's designed to enhance rapid absorption of water and other key ingredients into your bloodstream faster and more efficiently. You know, Ann and I get up pretty early in the morning to go to the gym because we can't go to the gym at any other time during the day. And for the last couple of weeks, I have been drinking 1 full glass of water with Liquid IV. And all I can tell you is you can feel the difference during the workout. So go and grab Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code CAMPEA at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order when you use the promo code CAMPEA, that's CAMPEA, at liquidiv.com. Experience better hydration today when you go to liquidiv.com, and remember, use the promo code at checkout, CAMPEA. And thank you to the good folks at Liquid IV for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Okay, guys, with that down, let's get into our main topics today. And how do we select our main topics here on the show? Well, it's really simple. You guys come up with our main topics. Whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you feel we need to cover as a main topic here on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Chris, what is our first main topic today?
Our first topic comes from Tarun. Hey, John and crew. My heart is filled with joy to see the lineup of movies and TV shows coming in the second half of 2022. One of my most anticipated shows is Amazon's Lord of the Rings series. The showrunners, J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, have now confirmed that they have planned out the whole 5 seasons, including the last shot of the last episode. Are your expectations for the show increasing? Take care and keep on the filthy.
All right, thanks for sending that in, Tarun. And yeah, look, there is nothing else coming out on television that I am more excited for. I'm very excited for House of the Dragon, absolutely. I'm very excited for all the various things we got, whether it's Ahsoka or whether it's another Marvel thing. Lots of great things coming that I'm very excited about. None of them more so than this Lord of the Rings series. I've been excited for this Lord of the Rings series for years, ever since they first started talking about doing it. I cannot wait to go back to Middle-earth and see what they've done. Now, there's 2 different trains of thoughts when it comes to planning out a series. On the one hand, you don't really, how many times have we seen a show that looked like it started off the great premise, and then you realize as you get into seasons 2, 3, or whatever, you realize, I don't think the creators of the show really knew where they were going with this.
Lost
Yeah.
is definitely one that you can bring up. I think there's several others we can
X-Files.
mention. Like, it's like they
Even though I
didn't
loved
really
X-Files.
know where they were going. They had this great premise, but how do we stick the landing? And they never really do. So there's that train of thought. Not planning out enough. But then there's another train of thought that I've heard several showrunners talk about, and they say, if you think you've got 3 full seasons or 4 full seasons planned out, you're doing it wrong. And their logic behind that is saying, you've got to understand that on the page, a show can look one way, but you've got to actually see the show come to life. And once a show starts actually shooting and airing, a show starts to take on a life of its own. And you need to take cues for where to go from your show. So some showrunners believe you shouldn't plan too far ahead. Some believe you'll fall into the lost pit or whatever if you don't. Well, it sounds like the runners of the new Lord of the Rings series are going with the, no, we got to have this thing planned out. As a matter of fact, they said they know the exact final shot of episode 5 already. This comes to us from the folks over at Screen Rant who write the following. The showrunners for The Lord of the Rings of Power, recently sat down with Empire and explained that season 1 would directly set up season 5. Payne detailed that they had mapped out the entirety of the story and know every major plot point throughout the series. We even know what our final shot of the last episode is going to be. The rights that Amazon bought were for a 50-hour show. They knew from the beginning that was the size of the canvas. This was a big story with a clear beginning, middle, and end. There are things in the first season that don't pay off until season 5. And again, that comes to us from the folks at Screen Rant. And again, as I like to do once in a while, to quote the immortal words of Mike Tyson, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. And so it's great. You say, we got all 5 seasons planned. And you know what? I said that sarcastically. It is great that they have all 5 seasons planned. There is something assuring knowing that these creators are not just, let's just do Lord of the Rings and wing it. No, they actually sat down and said, this is exactly our story. Our story is this. We go from here. We move into season 2 where we do this, and this. We go to season 3 and they're already trying to connect the tissue of events from season 3 to season 1, from season 2 to season 5. And there's something encouraging about that. Again, I just hope that within that overall plan, they do leave themselves that flexibility, because there may be a sub-story going on that they think is going to have a lot of heat, but then once it starts playing in season 1, maybe it doesn't have that heat, and that they'll have the agility to then kind of pivot and move into a different direction if they need to. So it's great to have a plan. I'm encouraged to hear they got the whole thing planned out. Again, I just hope they leave themselves enough wiggle room to pivot if they need to. Rob, you hear this, like we've seen many shows that we've been disappointed about that clearly they didn't know where they were going or what they wanted to do. I mean, maybe there's going too far the other way, but you hear their words. What are you thinking about it?
Well, to my mind, with the amount of money they've spent on this show,
which is a lot,
they damn well better know where they're going, because they said this show is about the second age of Middle Earth that's going to the third age.
Yep.
And we see the end of the second age of Middle Earth at the beginning of Fellowship of the Ring.
Right.
So to have them say we know what the final shot is, I'm like, well, if you're always running out of ideas, you could just use the beginning of Lord of the Rings if you wanted to and recreated one of those shots. But not to be sassy. I think that I think it's a good thing to hear that I think a show like this should be planned out. They should know exactly what their story is. I mean, Peter Jackson knew what his story was when he made Lord of the Rings. And while they did take, well, what about Tom Bombadil? Look, they made a great adaptation. It's good to hear. In my mind, a show like this needs to be planned out. That doesn't mean they can't, like in Breaking Bad, Jesse Pinkman was going to die in the first season.
Right, yeah.
And they liked that, so they pivoted, like you said. Good call. But I think they knew what Walter White's ultimate arc was going to be, when they set out. I think it's important in a show like this that there's a lot riding on this and a lot, even more money riding on this show. So to know that the showrunners have a really great handle on where it's going to go actually ups my excitement level.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, you brought up a great point about Jesse Pinkman was going to be killed off. One of my all-time favorite shows, Parks and Rec, Andy, played by Chris Pratt, was only supposed to be a season 1 character.
Yep.
And they were like, you know what? He really works. And I think that's part of what we were just talking about, right? About sometimes you can have it in your head, but once you see it on screen and it starts to take a life of its own, you got to be ready to pivot a little bit.
And that doesn't mean that you can't, if you know where your show's going to go, you can still work within those 5 seasons and bring characters out and I think John, I think a responsible showrunner goes with the flow. Part of what you're doing when you're making entertainment, there's a level of, I always said, sometimes there's a little Rumpelstiltskin factor. Somebody's going to spin straw into gold and it becomes alchemy. It's like magic, and somebody brings that fairy dust and you want to be able to add them to the mix.
And sometimes you got to sell a baby, or at least its name.
I got that. Anyway, Chris, you're hearing about this.
I got two.
What do you think about this?
I mean, for one thing, yes, I love that there's a trajectory here. But also, if there wasn't, I would say to myself, did you guys read the book? Have you seen the There's a clear end point here, guys. Obviously, we can take creative liberties, though. The idea with this whole thing being very, very planned, though, right? If you want to make God laugh, you make plans. If you want to make God cackle, you make plans with your show. All right? There's going to be twists, turns, and in filmmaking and television making, it is absolutely Murphy's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong. That's why we run into, 18-hour days and things like that, because stuff just goes amiss sometimes.
Right.
So that's obviously something that when we hear everything's planned out, we do need to take that with a grain of salt of there's going to be changes, there's going to be creative liberties taken. And if we do fall in love with a character, right, who maybe is supposed to be a one-off guest star, a la Felicity Smoke on Arrow. She's supposed to be on one episode as well. And then she had great chemistry with Stephen Amell and became his baby mama. So, if we fall in love with some tertiary character, maybe they get added into the fold here. So I like that we know where we're going. We're not just doing some weird, yellow umbrella nonsense like How I Met Your Mother and hoping we connect to that point at some point. We know where we're supposed to go and we've got a game plan.
And there's something to be said, too, about, look, between the beginning of the show and the end of the show, there are certain markers we need to hit.
Exactly.
But there can be different paths to getting there. Like, if you can say at the end of season 1, we need to be here, but then by the end of season 2, we need to be here. Well, you can still get there by the end of season 2,
Exactly.
but do it with a different character or
Yeah.
make an adjustment if you need to and still hit those landmarks.
If we can take away one thing from the source material, it's about the journey, not just the destination.
That's so Lord of the Rings of you to say. I
thanks.
like that a lot. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The showrunners for The Lord of the Rings say we've got all 50 hours planned out. We even know the last shot of this thing. Does that encourage you? Does it make you a little bit worried? What do you think about that? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down into the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 2. Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This one comes from Patrick R. Ted Lasso is easily my favorite show on streaming. It's filled with so much positivity and laughter. It's such a great escape and reprieve from a lot of the tragedies and bitterness in society today. That's why I was sad to see that Ted Lasso is reportedly ending its run after this coming season. Brett Goldstein, who plays Roy Kent, is a writer on the show and said that they're planning on ending the series. Jason Sudeikis said that he had always envisioned it ending here with Ted's arc being complete. But with all of the awards and acclaim the show has gotten, it's surprising that it's ending so soon.
Thanks a lot for sending that in, Patrick. I don't know that there is a more delightful show on television right now than Ted Lasso. Now, look, here's the thing. They brought up a point. Patrick brings up a point. I love dark shows. I love The Batman. I love stuff like Breaking Bad or Sons of Anarchy, one of my top 3 all-time favorite shows. I love the debauchery, backstabbing and stuff of a Spartacus or whatever. Absolutely. But you know what? We need, as well as those shows, we need shows like Ted Lasso that are just about good people doing good things. I just love. There was a movie Lupita Nyong'o did a few years ago that nobody saw or paid attention to. It was based on a true story. It's called The Queen of Katwe.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I love that.
Based on the true story of the chess prodigy,
Yep.
right? And I remember I came out of that movie and I said, my heart is full because there's no villain, there's no bad guy. This is just a movie.
That was a Disney movie, too.
Yeah, that's right. It was a Disney movie. It's just a movie about good people doing good things. And that's what Ted Lasso is like, a palate cleanser show. It's like when you start getting too pessimistic about the world and everything sucks and blah, blah, you watch Ted Lasso and you smile and your heart fills up and you laugh hysterically. Roy Kent is one of the best characters on television. I love that character so much. And it's been winning all the awards, and it has become, they never expected it to be, but it has become the flagship show for Apple TV. They always thought it was going to be the morning show, and the morning show is great. They thought it was good, but it's Ted Lasso. That is the flagship show of this network, and it's incredible. We heard Jason Sudeikis say about 6 months ago, I think it was, that it was probably only going to be 3 seasons. And we believed him, but we also thought, well, those plans are going to change because it's winning all the awards, right? Like they're sweeping up everything. People are loving its main thing. But now the actor who plays Roy Kent is also one of the writers of the show, one of the producers of the show, said, no, we wrote season 3 to be the finale. That's it. Now, of course, they say never and things like that. But for all intents and purposes, they're all like, yep, this is it. All the cast, by the way, one of the girls from the show is so good in The Offer.
Juno Temple.
Yes, she's just absolutely amazing. It's fantastic. They're starting to line up other opportunities that are coming after the show as well. So yeah, I think there is a chance it comes back. I hope it comes back because like I said, we need a show like Ted Lasso. And frankly, I don't know of any other show like it that's out there right now. And I think just for our own sanity, we need a show like this. So I hope they keep it going, but it is sounding like it's coming to an end. You know, Rob, we sometimes talk about shows that overstay their welcome and all that kind of stuff. You'd rather leave them wanting more.
Absolutely.
But I think it would be a real shame of this thing. And I don't know, do you think this pretty much is the end of Ted Lasso
I
season
think
3?
probably so. I mean, look, they're saying that the character, I prefer in a way the British model where you get a really great set of programs that are all good, where you don't go, oh, this season wasn't that good.
Yeah.
I would rather have 3 great seasons of Ted Lasso that are all fulfilling than say 6 seasons where season 5 was, it wasn't up to par. I think going out on a high note, look, that 3-season model is obviously, we talked about it a lot on this show, is a Netflix model.
Yeah.
You know, you've got 3 seasons. It makes it financially sound. You can have the writing, the directing, the actors give their A game every season, and you get something that has a level of excellence that might be diminished if it went longer. So while we might look, if you love something, you want it to stick around. But if the level of quality stays that high, let it go out on a high note.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so glad they didn't say that about Supernatural after 3 seasons. Anyway, Chris, and maybe
Different time, John.
Different time. Yeah. You hear this.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the idea of them pulling the plug on this show after this next season? And what do you think the chances are that maybe they do continue it?
I mean, like Rob, I really do like that British sensibility of let's end when the getting's good, right? We saw it with shows like Broadchurch. I would
Right.
love more Broadchurch, but
3 seasons.
3 seasons. They told the story they wanted to tell, and it's done. That's how they do it. I also think, though, there's the possibility for another very British thing to do of doing specials after this.
Yep.
We already had that delightful claymation special about his mustache, which I loved so much. But we could definitely do one-offs like they've done with Gavin and Stacey, you know, Christmas specials and things like that. I will say, too, the actor who plays Sam Obasanya, Toheeb Jamo, is that Toheeb, yeah. He had an interview with Deadline yesterday, and he was a bit more cryptic and said, we're not sure if this is the final season. Is this the last time I'm putting on this jersey? He is a actor on the show, not a producer and writer.
Right.
So that is something we can take with a grain of salt here. But I think this show is just so magical. And like you were saying, it's so nice to have a show that's about optimism. And it's so easy to be a cynic. It's so easy to be bitter about things. And I love that Ted Lasso is about not only addressing, toxic positivity, but also just embracing that we don't have to always make negative choices and we can believe things. We can make the choice a lot of times to believe that people and things are good.
When you got me, I started watching the show because of you. You were talking about how good it was. When I first started watching it, I didn't believe. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Right.
Like his wife in
were gonna
America,
find out he
and
was
then
some
the
piece of
owner of the
crap.
team, setting him up to fail. And
Yeah.
I kept waiting for it to turn into some dark, cynical show.
Yeah.
And it never did.
Well,
And I was surprised by that, but I would not have watched it if it wasn't for you singing its praises.
Well, it had a little bit of a major league feel to it, where it was the owner who was trying to.
Yeah.
And I was like, what, where I kept, and it delighted me so that's what I thought was surprising about it, was I kept my own dark, cynical sensibility was like, oh, when does the other shoe drop? And it never
And
did.
here's
And
the
I
funny
loved
thing
it.
about it.
I
Here's the
loved
funny
it.
thing about this show. There's something about the show. I mentioned Supernatural earlier. There's something about the show that I liken unto it. I don't love Ted Lasso because of its story. I mean, yeah, they got these little storylines that run, and
Yeah.
will Kent and her, will they end up together, and will the owner end up dating the soccer player, and okay, yeah, these little storylines run in there. I watched Ted Lasso mostly just to have the camera in the coach's room with the what do they call themselves? The dog pound? I can't remember what they
The
call
Diamond Dogs.
The Diamond Dogs.
Dogs.
Just to see the Diamond Dogs sitting around. By the way, who was the little assistant coach that went rogue?
Oh shoot!
Yeah,
I'm blanking on his
guys
name
in the
right
live
now.
chat. The guy who was the ball boy, and then they promoted him to an
Who just
assistant
got-
manager. Help me out, guys, in the live chat. What
awful.
is that character's name? But I watched the show literally to just hang out with these people. Like there were good seasons and not so good seasons. Go ahead. Zishan wrote in. It's Nate.
Yes, Nate the
Zishan,
Great.
right. So like Supernatural, there were good seasons and bad seasons, but I love them all because I tuned in just to hang out with the boys. I love just seeing Ted and Beard and whatever, just talking and all that kind of stuff. And it is a good, pleasant show, except Nate has to fucking die.
Oh, agreed.
This thing next season needs to start literally with the remaining Diamond Dogs
What a
with a
little shit.
blood pact, hunting down and stabbing Nate to death, drowning in a pool of his own
Oh, there's
blood.
some positivity.
Yeah, there we flip the switch. That
I have
character
never
just-
been more mad at a character though.
I have never hated a character more in my life than I hate Nate.
And like we've all watched Jessica Jones. I hate Nate more than Kilgrave.
Wow, I don't know. Do you hate it more than Homelander in season 3 of The Boys?
I mean, it's kind of neck and neck, Rob.
Yeah, it's right there.
You don't
it's
do
right
this
there.
to Theodore Lasso.
Nate needs to die. Anyway, guys, question is for you. I hope they continue. What do you think about this? They are still saying the plan is to end. What do you think is going to happen? Will it end and they'll all move on? Will Apple Plus back up a big trunk of that iPad money and dump it on all their doorsteps and keep this thing going? What do you think is going to happen here? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 3. Chris, what is our third main topic today?
This one's from Don Merritt. Hi, John and crew. It's funny that you guys mentioned What We Do in the Shadows on your show, and today we got news that it hasn't been renewed for season 5 before season 4 even aired, but they've also given the green light for season 6. I don't think there's been a TV show that made me consistently laugh as hard as What We Do in Shadows in a long time. Like, really long. What do you guys think about the extension, and how long do you think it can run?
I don't, if my day gets brought down a little bit with the thought that they're going to end Ted Lasso after season 3, it soars again, finding out that they not only renewed for another season, like we just got 4 is about to start. Not only they announced that they've renewed it for season 5, they've renewed it for season 6. This is a show, What We Do in the Shadows, that I admit fully, I hated the idea of. When they first announced it, I hated the idea. Yeah, I knew Taika Waititi was going to be involved to a degree, but it sounded like a poor man's version of the brilliant movie. It's like, oh my God, you can't do this as a show, especially if you're not if it's not going to star Taika Waititi and what's his name? Jermaine.
Yeah,
Jermaine Clemens?
Clemens,
yeah.
thank you. Jermaine Clemens. If it's not going to have the cast of the movie, what's the point? This is just a pathetic grab at some whatever, What We Do in the Shadows had a moment as a movie. By the way, the movie is remarkably good. It's what got Taika Waititi the Thor movie, but I was completely against it. This is a dumb idea. And then they launched with the first couple of episodes, I think. And my wife Ann came to me. She said, have you watched that What We Do in the Shadows show yet? I'm like, no, I'm not going to bother with that. She's like, you might want to reconsider that. I'm like, really? I said, is it funny? She goes, I'm not going to say anything. I just think you should reconsider. You should give it a shot. I'm like, okay. I've never gone back. I was hooked from episode 1. This show probably is the funniest show. Like, Ted Lasso, it comes with so many elements. It is hilarious, but it's filled with charm and warmth and love and smiles and rainbows. But What We Do in the Shadows, there is not a show that more consistently makes me laugh out loud that's airing right now than What We Do in the Shadows. Like, Nandor, I think is the greatest thing on TV. Nandor is like the greatest guy on TV right now. So many great things. Gizmo, Guillermo, whatever, Nadia. I mean, just Jackie Daytona. Everything about this show sings. It absolutely sings. It's filthy. It's got some really raunchy humor. Oh my God, the episode with Mark Hamill. The episode
so
with
good.
Mark Hamill was so freaking good. Mark Hamill as a vampire, a derelict, deadbeat landlord vampire. It's so good to hear them say, look, we know this works. And again, it's like the Ted Lasso thing. It's like, they know it. Nobody cares about the story of what's going on. I mean, finding out Guillermo's descendant of Van Helsing and is actually a vampire hunter, that's pretty cool. But we just want to see these vampires hanging out and talk. And they know that, and they're green-lighted for another 2. This show has not slowed down for me. I've watched 3 full seasons now. It's not lost its pace. Anyway, Chris, you hear about this. They've green-lit it for seasons 5 and 6. What do you make of this?
This is wonderful. This is my day. I love it. I think this is great. I love how much everyone on this show clearly is having fun, too.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, Matt Berry is just a gift to us all. One of my favorite things to do is make Logan say boring things as Matt Berry. So he'll run around the house and be like, darling, do you need me to do laundry? And I'm like, oh, this is great. But so I love that. I love that the actor who plays Guillermo is so invested in this show, too, that he does a lot of his own stunt work.
Yeah.
He wanted to make sure that he looked cool doing all of this. Everyone's so funny. There's so many great cameos on it. People are dying to be on this show. And I think audiences really, really love it. Because like you, I was a little delayed where I went, the movie's great. I don't know if I'm going to watch this. And I haven't looked back since. It is an absolute laugh riot. And they can take the most mundane thing, like going to a Super Bowl party or a Superb Owl, and make it,
I'll never get.
and they'll make it so great. I love it.
Rob, you hear about this? What do you make of them renewing it for seasons 5 and 6 before season 4 even airs?
Look, clearly, I mean, this show, what I love about the show is it knows exactly what it is. Everyone's on the same page. And like you said, clearly everyone is having a great time. I have to tell you, I bought the movie on Blu-ray. Not a surprise, right? What was a surprise was I don't think I watched it for like 2 years. This is before the series, 2 or 3 years. You know, it's one of those things where you hear about it, but you didn't see it. And I'm like, oh, I have to have this in my collection. I didn't really know why. Just I heard people, Rob, you're going to love this, buy it. So it was one of those things. It was kind of like Spielberg's Lincoln. I didn't see Lincoln in the theater. And I just had it on the, I kept moving it down the stack. I'm like, do I really want to watch a movie about Abraham Lincoln? And then when I watched it 5 times in a week. I watch it every day for a week. That's how much I love Lincoln. This thing, I put it on and I watched the first 10 minutes and I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. And I went back and I watched the 10 minutes again. And I think I've seen this movie 50 times. And I'm like, okay, this to me was the successor of Spinal Tap. You know, that kind of.
That's a good comparison.
And like where even though it's a complete goof, it still works. It's still a legitimate genre movie. Even though it's complete outright comedy, what they do with with werewolves and vampires and the culture and all that and
Werewolves,
the mythology
not
of it all,
swearwolves.
it all worked really, really well. And I thought that was fascinating. When the show was on, I'm like, all you have to do is watch the first episode and you're like, okay, this is capturing lightning in a bottle. It doesn't cost a lot. The people that are making this show they probably show up with bells on every day. It does not surprise me that a show like this gets a 2-season renewal because this is the kind of entertainment that you want. To me, that's the way of the world. It should be like this. You should be renewing a TV show for 2 years, you know, especially when you're talking about seasons 5 and 6. I think it's well deserved. I think we're all better off. And if you're a horror or science fiction fan and you've never watched this show, do it. Go get the movie first because I think the movie's so good.
Yeah.
So the only question that I have is, have you conquered Staten Island? That so good. By the way, and the guys at FX and Hulu, they know they've got a winner on their hands. This comes to us from the folks at Variety. They wrote the following: What We Do in the Shadows has been renewed for both season 5 and season 6 at FX. The announcement comes ahead of the popular comedy's 4th season premiere. There's a lot of life left in our favorite vampires from Staten Island, and FX couldn't be more thrilled to commit to 2 additional seasons of this phenomenal series, said Nick Grad, president of original programming for FX Entertainment. What We Do in the Shadows excels on every level, from the brilliant cast to the surprising guest stars to the producers, writers, directors, and crew. We can't wait for everyone to enjoy season 4, knowing that the next 2 are on the way. And again, that comes us from the folks at Variety.
They said it all right there.
Yeah, they know exactly what they've gotten. By the way, the episode where they go to Viva Atlantic City.
Aww.
I mean, that whole episode where they do the heist with the boxing match. Everything's so great about this show. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Do you watch What We Do in the Shadows? If not, what are you doing with yourselves? You need to re-question certain decisions you've made in your life because you need to start watching this show. It's great. It's been renewed for seasons 5 and 6. What do you guys think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, jump on down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. Okay, guys, before we go on to our next topic, we want to take a second and thank another sponsor of today's episodes, a group I've been using, an organization, a company I've been using for years for editorial videos, for my own documentary, the wonderful folks over at Storyblocks. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of today's video, Storyblocks. Guys, I have been an enthusiastic fan and user of Storyblocks for years. I go to them whenever I'm in need of content creation assets like royalty-free music, video clips, or templates for my creative projects, ranging anywhere from little editorial videos to my very own full-feature documentary. Storyblocks helps you bring your stories, videos, and projects to life without sacrifices due to time, budget, or access to resources. They have over 1 million different story assets ranging from stock videos, audio and music, an in-browser video editor, and they feature pre-designed templates, animations, and outros. Storyblocks uses an affordable subscription model, and their unlimited access plans offers, well, unlimited video and audio downloads rather than a costly pay-per-clip model. With Storyblocks, you'll be able to create more content and, more importantly, better content, all while using a subscription plan that fits your budget, utilizing unlimited downloads of demand-driven and diverse content. So if you're interested in upping your content creation game, head over to www.storyblocks.com/Campea and get started today. That's www.storyblocks.com/Campea. And thank you to the folks at Storyblocks for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. By the way, guys, when you support the sponsors of our show, you're actually supporting the show. Go down into the description of this video. Right near the top, you'll see the links and promo codes for all of our sponsors today. Check them out. And thank you again to Storyblocks for being a sponsor. All right, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 4. Chris, what is our 4th main topic today?
Our 4th topic is coming from BJ Myers. John, I just saw the first trailer for Prey and I loved it. I think The Revenant crossed with Predator. Except it actually is a Predator movie. It has a killer catch line in it that says, "They hunt to live, it lives to hunt," which I thought was awesome. Have you guys seen this new trailer yet? And does it give you any hope that the movie can actually be any good? Thanks to Bring on the Filthy.
All right, thanks for saying that in, BJ. And I will admit, the Predator franchise is one that ran out of gas for me a long time ago. I mean, I was really excited when Shane Black was going to do a Predator movie. It's like, well, this is going to be awesome because it's Shane Black. Wah, wah. Not so much. It did not work out so well. And so what little enthusiasm I pulled together for a Predator iteration because Shane Black was doing it was now gone. And then when I heard it was going to be set like back a couple of 100 years ago, and it was going to be set where it was going to be a Native American squaring off against a Predator, I was like, this sounds like a YouTube video. This doesn't sound all that great to me. And then, once Fox came under Disney, it's like, well, it's probably going to be like a PG-13 kind of Predator. But Trachtenberg, I always don't know if I pronounce his name right. Of course, he was director of 10 Cloverfield Lane and stuff like that. He directed this, and he put everybody's thoughts at ease saying, oh, no. Disney did not make us Disneyfy this. They let us make this real violent. This comes from the folks over at Variety who wrote the following. The Disney thing did not affect the movie at all. This is the director. Did not affect the movie at all in terms of its content. The 10 Cloverfield Lane director told us to talk about the film's new trailer. That's why I'm excited for this trailer to come out. And for people who were worried that it was going to be a PG-13 or it was going to be Disney-made Predator, It was a 20th century movie throughout the entire experience. And then Disney has been awesome in receiving the reins, in receiving the reins of it and now delivering it out into the world. But there was never any mandate from them. I was terrified of some of the wording we had in the script. And when they read it, I was like, oh no, are they going to freak out over the description of the gore and stuff? But no, it is a brutal, intense, very R-rated movie. And that, again, comes to us from Trachtenberg, who's the director of the film. And on the heels of that comment he put out there, they released the first trailer for Prey. I only watched it because people asked me to check it out. Not really interested. I'm interested now. The job of a trailer, we say this on the show all the time, is to take your expectation level, your excitement level, no matter if it's low or high, and bump it up a few notches. This trailer has bumped up my interest a lot because I went from really having no interest in this to like, well, damn, I got to watch this. This had a great primal, feel to it. It just felt good. It felt horrifying. And I like to hear the director then say, this is like a really brutally violent film. And there's a lot of gore and there's a lot of nastiness. It's like, these are all words you want associated with a Predator movie. And you get a little like, and I love these stories about the runt of the pack, right? There's a lot of different movies and TV shows that are made about the runt of the litter. Like, who is the one you overlook? The one, whether it's a Mulan story or something like that. You know, they were the smallest guy. He was the kid who always got beat up in class, whatever, and they rise up to be the hero. I love these kind of stories. So it looks like they're taking that on here as well. So I saw the trailer. I thought it was really top notch, to be honest with you. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to see the trailer for Prey. What did you think?
It looks dope. I mean, I love the idea, this idea that the predators have been hunting on Earth for centuries, you know, and I also, like you see at the end of Predator 2, when Danny Glover is gifted with that weapon, that the predators have a grudging respect. You know, they're just not here to wipe out human beings or whomever. They can see, they give respect where respect has been earned.
Right.
And I love that idea. And maybe this is going to, I'm sure the tie-in, the idea for this movie, they're like, where did that flintlock or whatever, where did it come from? You know, and somebody extrapolated back. And I love what you see. You see that this girl is being hunted by this bear. And I'm sure the predator's like, oh, she's respectable. Maybe I'll go after her. You know, and I really liked all this. The only criticism that I have, and I totally understand why they wouldn't do this, I would have made the whole movie subtitled in their original language. They can't do that. No, I mean, it's not Mel Gibson and Apocalypto or anything like that, which I understand. But barring that, I think this looks great. I think it looks cool. It's fresh, really interesting direction to take the franchise. You know, John, after seeing Alien versus Predator Requiem, the second one, I love when the alien comes out and the Predator ship crashes back down to Earth and you cut to the Predator homeworld. And there's like the poor workaday predator who gets the little ding, 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 and he has to go take care of the problem. I always thought that they should just do like a sitcom set on the Predator homeworld. Like, if
remember
they have
you talked about this a couple of years ago.
Years ago. So I love the idea that we're getting more, like we're getting more of the Predator culture. Like they didn't just come down to hunt, you know, American soldiers in the 20th century or a cop in LA. They've been coming here for a long time. Mm-hmm. Like this is now, like I said today earlier before the show started, this is like their Yellowstone. You know, the predators come to go see the natural world and to test their mettle, prove themselves against the population. I think it looks great.
The domesticated predator being like, honey, can't we go back? It was so cute last time.
And the kids, Dad, I'm bored.
Chris, you had a chance to see the trailer. What do you think of it?
Oh man, this elevated my interest so much because going into it, and we talked about it on the show before, me and Ray, of this doesn't seem like a fair fight. Yes, in previous films, you know, good old fashioned mud and things help take down predators, but this just seemed like a very stacked against situation.
Yeah, there's no Arnold or Jesse the Body Ventura with what's it called, Old Painless. Right? He doesn't have this massive weapons or anything like that.
Or big old like literal guns on him, right? So I saw this though, and once that bear carcass is dragged away, I was in. I'm very, very excited. And the actress in this who's leading this, Amber Midthunder, she has actually been working for about 20 years. So this also goes to prove there's not really overnight successes in Hollywood, right? This young lady has been working since she was a kid in the film industry. So I'm very excited to see how she, takes charge as the lead, as the number one on a call sheet for this film too. She looks incredible. I am still nervous that it's a Hulu film. That is the only thing giving me pause.
Yeah, I mean, like whenever I hear about something being jumped, but then again, it's like they announced it was going to be a Hulu film even before they went into production.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not like it went into production, they made the film, and then
they shifted.
"Good news, everybody! It's coming to streaming." I was like, "Yeah, we know what that means."
Yeah.
So I'm gonna choose to remain optimistic on that, but that is a good point to raise. Ray, you had a chance to see this trailer. So we're sitting here about 10 minutes before the show starts, and all I hear, because we're all doing our things getting ready, and all I hear is like, yeah. Like, and sure enough, he's watching. What did you think about it?
This should have been the first trailer. I mean, now I get it. And now it feels like with the weapons they have which is very minimal, it'll create like more tense moments, like, because they really don't have anything to go up against this Predator. And like I said, I've only seen parts of Predator 1 and the whole Aliens versus Predator. So I'm not tired of the Predator yet. And so I'm gonna watch this for sure.
Well, I agree with you. And I think that we just talked about Hulu. I don't know if they could have gotten this greenlit as a theatrical film, without someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger to anchor it. I think that they came up with an idea that, what are we going to do? The last Predator movie didn't do very well. Not a great film. So I think in terms of keeping a franchise alive, now this is assuming the movie's good. I'm just going to assume for the moment for this argument. Sure,
because we've all seen great trailers to bad movies. So who knows?
But if this is actually really good, I think this shows it plots a course to how can you keep franchise properties alive. If you're always swinging for the fences and making these very expensive theatrical films, I love the idea that this is shot out in the wilderness. You're out there on location. Obviously, you have to go on location, but it doesn't look like it's expensive. You're not shooting in a city. You're not on an alien planet like in the Predators movie. So this is a really interesting, manageable way to keep a franchise property going that keeps it fresh. This is assuming, John, it's good. And makes it relevant again. Coming off of Predator or The Predator, seeing something like this, I'm like, okay, man, I'm stoked. I think I can't wait now to bring a Predator action figure from Hot Toys and put it right on my desk again to promote it.
Do you think this being a movie that is, again, they planned it to be a Hulu thing from the beginning, but if this movie is great, and that's a big if, but if we're going to go with that for a second, if this movie is great, could a movie that is a Hulu original revive the Predator franchise, or is this just like the last stop?
I think that's a really good question. I would say it absolutely could, because I think now this is new. These are new waters, and how franchise properties are going to be dealt with. Look, I was surprised in the middle of the X-Files, they made an X-Files feature film, right after season 5. I'm like, is that going to work? And they came back in from season, and then they went 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, but X-Files was hot, and it was a big thing. Predator's
it's
not.
True. It's true, but this could make it hot again.
Right.
And I think if this does really well, if they come up with a good script, another great idea, why not?
All right, guys. Question is for you. Have you had a chance to see this new Predator Prey trailer? It's really just called Prey, but they should have called it Predator Prey. But whatever. Have you guys had a chance to see it? If so, what did you think about it? Did you like it like we did? Maybe you're looking at us going, you guys are crazy. This trailer's terrible. Whatever you guys think, and do you think that if this movie is great, and that's a big if, that it could revive the Predator franchise, and maybe we will see on the big screen again some Predators, maybe Predators versus Aliens again sometime in the future? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move into our fifth and final main topic today. Chris, what is our fifth topic today?
This last one comes from Alejo Caballero. Hey, John and crew. I'm from Argentina, where Jurassic World Dominion has already opened. I went to see it, and let me tell you, it's one of the worst blockbusters I've seen in a while. The characters have no arcs except for some of the original Jurassic Park ones. The dialogue is terrible, and the actual plot of the movie is laughable. With that said, I realized the movie had opened because my friends and I were looking for something that wasn't Top Gun Maverick, all screenings were sold out, to watch, and there it was. We saw no marketing for it anywhere. Do you feel any buzz for this movie?
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. And yeah, I have felt buzz for the movie. I've heard a lot of people asking about it. Like I generally rate these things on how many of all the messages that get sent to me every day, is there a decent percentage of them about that particular project? And there have been a lot. I think the trailers have looked good and all that kind of stuff. Now, I was supposed to go see this movie last night. At the last minute, I wasn't able to go, and that's on me. So I wasn't able to go. A lot of people are saying, John, why is there no out of the theater reaction to it? It's because, well, I wasn't there. I didn't go. That being said, the reactions have started coming out. Now, it should be noted that the film has already opened in a couple of countries, and the critics in those areas have been able to post some reviews, and it's got an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. But that's only with a handful of critic reviews that have been up. So now here in LA, there was this big screening in LA that I was supposed to go to, and I couldn't go at the last second. But the reactions are coming out of that. And they're not great. They're not great. Some of them are positive. They're not, it's not like it's bad across the board. It's not. There are some positive ones. But even some of the positive ones are like, eh. Here's a few of the ones.
That's
that
exactly what they're like.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Here's David Gonzalez wrote, Jurassic World Dominion is one of the most preposterous, illogical entries I've seen all year, and that's not including dinos walking the earth. However, I was all in. Roaring with giant action sequences and a natural chemistry between the OG3 and the new Gen duo. I dare say it's dino might. So that's a positive one, but saying it's one of the most preposterous illogical entries they've ever seen. Menzel writes, it brings me no joy to report that Jurassic World Dominion is a massive disappointment. While the film does feature some incredible dinosaur sequences, and it is great to see the original cast back on the big screen, the film fails to deliver on what the previous films promised. Courtney Howard wrote, Jurassic World Dominion equals bad. It ignores the premise it should have had from the start, instead of synthetically engineering two entirely different, uninteresting and hollow stories that it struggles to connect. Some effects look polished, some ropey. Worst film of the franchise. Kevin Lee writes, Jurassic World Dominion is better than Fallen Kingdom in every way. It knows the franchise is out of ideas, so it tries to do something new by doing a bit of everything. It's so dumb and cheesy, it kind of works. A flawed but admirable effort with plenty of action and cool dinosaurs. Then our friend Scott Mance, he was there last night too, and he wrote, it pains me to say this, but I did not like Jurassic World Dominion. The story was convoluted and all over the place, and it didn't feel special. There's no magic or heart to it, and it doesn't capture the awe-inspiring feeling of the original, not at all. Not sure who it's even for. And it just kind of goes on like that. There's a few peppered in there. They're like, yeah, it's okay. I liked it. There's some good dino actions and whatever, but for the most part, it seems to be disappointment, especially with the promise of this is the big finale of the franchise, and we're bringing in the big OG crew to join up with the new crew and everything, but it sounds like bad. By the way, I get so tired of when we talk about first reactions from movies, people say, well, first reactions are always good. No, they're not. And we're seeing that kind of here. So, Chris, I don't know, like we're hearing very, very mixed things, mixed to negative and awful in some. Are you surprised to hear this? Have you been excited about this movie? What do you think about it?
I mean, I was very excited about this film because of the OG cast coming in and intermixing with all of our new bloods, right? To hear this is the worst of the franchise is very upsetting because we had things like Fallen Kingdom or Lost Kingdom, right? And the third one with Tay Leone. So that doesn't bode well. I have tried to stay away from a lot of these just so I can go into it with my own mindset and how I just want to view this without anyone else's words, buzzing through my head so that I can make my own opinions. But the last few films, too, though, haven't been that great. The last Jurassic World installment wasn't that fantastic. I don't think it was as terrible as other people thought, yelling about Clone Girl and everything. But so far, the franchise has been slowly sizzling out. And I really wanted them to end with a bombastic Tyrannosaurus roar, not this little, that seems like it's going to do.
Rob, we're hearing about this. I know you literally teared up when that one trailer for Jurassic World Dominion came out. You loved it. You thought it was so beautiful. What are you thinking about the reactions we're hearing here? What's standing out to you?
John, there's a series of science fiction novels written by David Gerald called The War Against the Tor. And the book, it's like crack for my imagination, because the concept is an alien ecosystem is invading our planet from the submicroscopic level, and the threat is terrifying. I don't know if they'll ever make movies of that. I thought, this is just me, that Jurassic World Dominion, the plot was going to deal with the fact that our ecosystem on Earth, because we've revived the dinosaurs, has been disrupted. And that somehow our planet we unleashed, call it an allegory for climate change or whatever. I was expecting a science fiction movie with big science fiction ideas, which is what the first Jurassic Park really is. It gives you dinosaurs, but it's also about, should man tamper? Should we play God? I've always loved that story. It sounds like, and maybe because, what do you call it? Expectation versus speculation versus expectation. I speculated the hell out of this movie. And when I saw, the reason I teared up is because when I saw that shot on the plains where you've got dudes on horseback running with dinosaurs, I'm like, oh, I'm getting from this movie exactly what I wanted. I wanted to see the realization of all the Jurassic Parkian ideas, all the way back to Richard Attenborough, and they were going to tie it up and make some big sci-fi statement about where mankind is at now. Are we going to be able to save our species, or is it going to go to hell in a handbasket? So in my mind, I was like, this is not only are people going to die at the hands of just torn asunder by dinosaurs, but I'm also going to get a great science fiction concept. Well, apparently I'm getting none of those things. Now, I'm going to go see this movie, and I'll walk in with bells on, with a smile on my face. But I think that when I read, in some review, it says Laura Dern is looking for mutant locusts. And I'm like, what? No, I understand. When I read that, I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe that means that there's mutant locusts because the environment's changing. When you got dinosaurs, they need something to eat. And along with dinosaurs coming back to life, giant locusts happen. Why? Don't know. But it could have worked.
Because life finds a way, Rob.
Exactly.
Life finds a way. That's what I wanted from this movie. And it's not that hard. But look.
Yes, it is. Let's not pretend.
Making movies is easy.
It's hard.
If we could have murder hornets in 2020, though, we can have mutant locusts in Jurassic Dominion.
We can. And I guess it's because, there's another book, by the way, book club, Charles Pellegrino, who came up with the idea about mosquitoes and amber and how you could bring back, that's where Michael Crichton got the idea. He wrote another book. Charles Pellegrino wrote a book called Dust. That's one of the scariest books I've ever read. Go look it up, kids. It's about insects dying out. But I'm telling you, this kind of stuff should be nightmare fuel in addition to, and it sounds to me that this movie's just way too convoluted. There's multiple storylines, and I'm just disappointed. I'm pre-disappointed. What is it called when you've got speculation versus expectation? I'm pre-disappointed. Is there a word for that?
I don't know.
Shitty foreplay.
Shitty foreplay.
Man, and that's the worst, knowing that you have to go through the whole thing.
Man.
If foreplay is shitty, there's nothing left.
Not a lot to look forward to.
We'll save this movie, right? Even if, let's say it really is
The Moon?
bad.
The Moon?
No. Motion seats.
Ooh,
4DX,
4DX.
baby.
Oh, come
That's
on.
We gotta
true.
watch that.
still excited for this, Ray?
Ray has been fixated on 4DX for a while now.
Yeah, because I haven't seen a movie in that.
I wish that you and I went to go see Sonic 4DX together, because we would have had the best time.
Yep.
It was so fun.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about these early reactions we hear coming out of Jurassic World Dominion? Again, I haven't seen the film. I mean, for all I know, I'm going to watch this and I'm going to think it's the best film I've ever seen. Maybe Rob will too.
Maybe I will.
Who knows? What are you guys thinking? Have you been excited for the film? And by the way, don't forget, there are some positive reactions coming out for it too. It's just very mixed to negative. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. Okay, guys. With that down, we are now going to open up the super chats. If you guys have a thought, opinion, idea, question, theory that you guys would like to fire in and have us read off, you can go ahead and do that now. Start sending those in. We will leave them open for a couple of minutes, but they do fill up fast. We're going to have to shut it down quickly. So start firing those in if you will. But before we get to those live questions, we want to take a second and thank another sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show. They were actually the very first sponsor who ever signed up for our show, the good folks over at Upside. Hey guys, we want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of today's video, Upside. You guys remember a while ago, I started using Upside. Upside is an incredible, easy to use app for buying groceries, dining out, or even buying gas. And with every purchase you make at those shops, restaurants, or gas stations, you are earning cash back thanks to Upside. When I started using Upside, I was incredibly impressed with just how easy the app is to use and how easy it is to start accumulating cash that I can deposit directly into my bank account, PayPal, Amazon gift card, many different ways. And like I said, I was incredibly impressed at just how easy and simple and straightforward the process is to start getting cash back now. To get started, just download the free Upside app in the Apple App Store or Google Play. Use my promo code CAMPEA, that's CAMPEA, and get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. Once you've got the app, just claim an offer for whatever it is you're buying on Upside. Check in at the business, pay as usual with a debit card or a credit card, and get paid. Download the free Upside app and use promo code Campea Show to get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more using the promo code Campea Show. And thank you to the good folks at Upside for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Once again, guys, if you support our sponsors, you're actually supporting the show. Check out all of our sponsors of today's shows down in the description with all their promo codes and go check them out there. Okay, guys, with that down, let's move into taking your live comments and questions. You guys have been firing them in. So, Chris, what do we got?
We've got some support from Kevin Cow, yay, and Lucas McManus.
Thank you, guys.
Jay Bling. We've seen movies with ideas that seemed bad on paper, but ended up great in execution. Still, reading the plot for Jurassic World Dominion, I thought, for why?
I mean, listen, here's the thing. We were just talking about this during one of the sponsor breaks, too. Is that, like, it all depends. Like, a description, a point can make you think something awful sounds great or make something great sound awful. I really don't put a lot of stock into it. Like, I read this one thing once, like, it was called, there was a Twitter handle called Bad Descriptions for Movies. And it was like, it's like Star Wars, deadbeat father who tries to kill son while taking down something. Like, right? It's just,
right.
It's like if you read it, if you present it a certain way, it may come off as awful. But I mean, so the description I've read and even the synopsis I've read for Jurassic World Dominion, it didn't sound like much, but I mean, I've known not to put too much stock in that because you just never know. Anyway, all right, what's next?
From Amin, remaining Kenobi prediction. Episode 4, Kenobi heals and we get flashbacks to Clone Wars. Ends with him connecting to Qui-Gon. Episode 5, he goes to Inquisitor base to save Leia. Episode 6, final battle with Vader.
I mean, look, we've had a few people write in, and thanks for sending that in, Amin. We've had a few people write in over the past couple of days to say, I think episode 4 is going to be a flashback episode. And I don't think that's terribly far off because some people get very specific. It's going to be like Boba Fett in the Bacta tank having visions. It's going to be Obi-Wan in the Bacta tank healing from that confrontation with Vader, and he's having flashbacks. I don't know. Do you still feel pretty good we're going to get a flashback?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking because, look, Hayden Christensen, if all he's given is what we saw in episode 3, I don't think he as an actor would have taken that role. I think we're gonna see him not as Vader.
He's not super busy doing a lot of other things right now.
But
and
still,
it's a pretty good paycheck.
You still got to give somebody a part, and I think that they would want to do that. The showrunners would.
I agree.
I would say that we're going to see Obi-Wan and we're going to see Anakin. We haven't seen much of them on camera, live action in the Clone Wars. Obviously, we got the whole animated series, but other than Revenge of the Sith, we didn't. And even then, we only saw the end of the Clone Wars, really. I mean, it would be interesting to see something within the middle of the conflict that informed whatever's going on for the rest of the episodes of Kenobi that we just don't know about yet, that would extend the mythology and give us something new to look at. And also, I would love to see the two of them in live action again in that realm, the realm of the Clone Wars. So I'm hoping it is.
All right, what's next?
From NashPreds99, Eric Davis tweeted that Variety says WB wants to make Superman priority number 1. Variety then said Cavill is aging out of the role. Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, The Rock, and Jason Momoa are all older than Henry.
Who says he's aging out of the role? I mean, I don't know. Chris, can you look that up? Like, how
I can
old is
check,
Henry
yeah.
Cavill? I mean, I know he's not like 29 years old, but I think he's getting close to 40, but I mean, that's perfectly fine. I mean, for what he is,
He's 39.
Okay, so he's 39. All right. What's wrong with 39? I mean, if you see The Rock is over 50 now. The Rock just hit half century. So, I mean,
Yeah.
why can't Cavill have 10 more good years playing Superman?
Yeah, he could do a whole trilogy and still look great.
Yeah, I don't see that as again. I don't want to comment on it too much because I have not seen this Variety article, so I will take a look at that and will probably be a topic on the show tomorrow.
There we go.
All right, what's next?
From Aiden Foley. Love the show as always, guys. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you, Aiden. Good to have you here, and thank you for just sending that in. It's always nice when people want to write in just to say something encouraging. All right, what's next?
From Fifi. I know John loves the underdog red of the pack shows movies. I think he'd really enjoy My Hero Academia. Seems up his alley.
I tried watching My Hero Academia. I can't remember if I got through all of season 2. Anyway, I watched it. I watched all the first season. I know I got well into season 2, maybe by the end. And I loved All Might. All Might is a great character. And I love the One for All. The whole concept of One for All is fantastic. I loved it. However, what was the name of the main character again?
Izuku.
But what do they call him?
Oh, his superhero name?
Yeah.
Shoot.
It's like a one syllable thing.
Yeah.
But Izuku, all right? I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't. I tried.
It's very anime.
I could not watch another fucking frame of this lead character who only talks in loud cry. Deku. Thank
There
you
we
guys
go.
in the live chat. I think the first one I saw put in there was Matt Deku. I could not stand another moment of the lead character of a show who only spoke in loud whine. Fucking shut up! I couldn't put up with it. It's a great world they build. There's a Harry Potterishness to the whole idea of the school and all that kind of stuff. There's some really, and again, All Might, I love some really, really good stuff there, but I just couldn't put up with it anymore. I'm like, I'm out. I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. I just can't do it anymore. All right. What's next?
From Cody Hunt. Saw Crimes of the Future last night. Rob, what the hell did I just watch?
Well, I think you watched a contemplative science fiction film that delves into the potential history of or future of what mankind can turn into. I mean, it takes all of Cronenberg's feature career, beginning with Shivers in 1975, all the way to 2022, and sort of, in a way, it's kind of a nice bow on his whole career and his whole idea of body horror.
Cronenberg is awesome in Star Trek Discovery. All right. What's next?
You have to put it that way.
Cody
Wow.
Hunt. From Soul Carlos. Thoughts on the new trailers from Strange World from Disney Animation? The character style looks like Onward, a style that I wasn't a huge fan of. Raya didn't do well. I think we need more musicals again.
I thought, just for the record, I thought Raya was
Raya was
really
great.
good. I enjoyed that a lot. I did not like the trailer for Strange World. I mean, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. I mean, I watched it. I'm like, not only do I have no idea what's happening here, there's nothing in this trailer that's hooking me. Like, and Disney trailers do a great job of with the hooks. Like, they get you hooked. Nothing about this did it for me. Look, it's coming from Disney Animation, I believe. They do a lot of great stuff. So I'm anticipating it's probably going to be pretty good, but I just got to admit, nothing about the trailer stood out to me. All right, what's next?
From Follow Rob on IG. I could hear Rob getting more flaccid as John kept reading the first reaction.
Does that make a sound?
you could it's like the sound of the air coming out of a balloon. There it goes.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, I try and keep it up as long as I can, but when things deflate you, it's hard.
All right, when things
It's not
deflate
hard.
you.
That's the point.
Oh my God.
Oh no!
Let's see what Elizabeth has to say.
Elizabeth Toronto.
Hello, Elizabeth.
So Netflix Geek Week is happening right now, and I'm gonna be honest, some of the clips suck. Only ones that were good were The Sandman and 1899.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't watched any of the Geek Week stuff. I did watch a little bit. What's it called? The Midnight Club.
Yeah.
I thought that was a stupid trailer. Now, maybe if you knew, you know the
It was for people that read those books.
I was going to say,
R.L. Stein.
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
If you are familiar with the source material, I could see it maybe revving your engine. If you're like the majority of people like me and you don't know what the source material is and you watch it like, this did nothing to get me interested. Just walk around. For those who are here and for those who are not here. For those who want beer with less calories but also tastes great. I mean, it was just, it was lame. But again, I guess if you knew if you know the material, maybe it was awesome. But yeah, nothing.
The Sandman trailer and the
Oh, yeah.
1899 trailer from the people that made Dark, both of those trailers. I mean, the Sandman's my favorite comic book of all time, and it looks really
It looks
good.
so
Here's
good.
the thing. Somebody said I watched the Sandman trailer, and I'm not really sure I understand what's going on. And I said, I get that, but that trailer made the most sense out of the Sandman story that I think you can possibly do with a 2-minute trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I really just like, I can't believe how well they put that trailer
Right.
together to even remotely kind of communicate what this is about. Cause it's not an easy one to do.
No, and I just like the fact that it looks like Neil Gaiman's a writer and a producer on the show. It looks like it's actually following the comic book.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
All right. What's next?
From Tall Dude 3231. Hi, John and team. Will you guys be catching Moulin Rouge when it comes to the Pantages Theater later this month? Love when you mention the movie.
Anne, my wife Anne, loves the theater. She has a season pass to Pantages. I don't go with her all the time, but I will go for some select ones. Moulin Rouge is definitely one I'll
Yeah.
be going to. So absolutely. Again, it's one of my top, the film version is obviously one of my top 20 favorite films of all time. Has been for a long time. Absolutely love it. All right. What's next?
From Al Renshaw. We all know how to make Jurassic World better. Bring in the family and bring in Toretto. Time to go from space to facing off against dinosaurs.
Listen, don't forget, a couple of years ago, there was real talk that they were thinking about doing Jurassic Park and Jurassic World crossing over with Fast and the Furious in some shape or way, shape, or
There's
form.
nothing to say it's not in universe.
Yeah.
I mean, we just
No,
have
exactly. The time hasn't. Maybe just the time is offset a little bit. I mean, so no, they're not going to do it. But don't be fooled. It was an idea that was floated at Universal. Hey, crazier things have happened. All right, what's next?
From Jerome. Think Guillermo will ever become a vampire, or could he be immune because of his Helsing heritage?
Oh, that's a good question. Would he be immune to it? Look, I think he could be, but I think the fact that he is a descendant of Van Helsing, I think that's far more interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely far more interesting. So I don't think he'll ever become a vampire during the run of the show. Maybe during the final episode of the final season. Other
Would
than
he
that,
have to kill himself if he did?
Well, remember, he is protecting vampires now. So, I mean, that's interesting. All right, what's next?
From Suthius. Quite a few new trailers over the weekend. A couple of interesting ones from Netflix, including Sandman, Strange World, and Prey were great.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I haven't been as pleasantly surprised by a trailer as I was with Prey in a while. I mean, not in years, but in a while. Again, this was a project that I had very little interest in. Even that first little glimpse they gave us, I'm like, eh. But this looked pretty. Again, the person who wrote in the message said something about the comparison to The Revenant, and it's not just the bear. I mean, the color grading of
Yeah.
it, it really did have kind of a Revenant feel to it. I got to tell you, I'm on board with it now. All right, what's next?
From Stubble McShave. On yesterday's show, you mentioned dirty lines from Star Wars. I sent a letter about it to Rob a while back. I think my favorite is Yoda saying, "Come, good food."
I know. So I can't remember if it was a Twitter account or a web page or whatever that was basically like out of context Star Wars lines that out of context can sound completely dirty. And again, my favorite was, pull out, you can't do any more good back there. That's one of the best ones ever. But I'm telling you, there was just 2 or 3 pages of them that were really, really quite good. Really quite good. All right, what's next?
From Kara Black. Imagine if Star Wars had taken advantage of their momentum along with Top Gun and put out a video montage of Darth Vader using his force choke on fools with Take My Breath Away from Top Gun.
Somebody should just do that.
Yeah, I was going to say,
listen,
internet, make it so.
I will be shocked if I jumped onto YouTube right now, did a search for that, and didn't find 10 of those.
Yeah.
Exactly. That sounds like something exactly somebody would have done. By the way, that was a great song back in the day.
It was a great song back in the day.
All right, what's next?
From Corey Hensley, one of 3. Speaking of Lost, admittedly, it's flawed, but it paved the way for modern genre TV. When you're the first of your kind, you make all the mistakes. I always prioritize the characters' journeys over the mythology, so it was emotionally satisfying, including the end. Yes, I'm in the minority.
Yep. Yeah, 3 is a little too ambitious. I would disagree that Lost paved the way. I think there were other shows that kind of were like became the templates of a lot of the TV that we get today and stuff like that. Lost was certainly one of the first ones to kind of come out during that thing, but I think there were probably some other ones back then. And look, I get what you're saying. As long as I like the characters, I can go along with the journey. As long as the journey doesn't become so convoluted that it's hard to stay focused on the characters. Look, the last season of Lost, as bad as it is, it doesn't ruin the show. Like at the end of the day, Lost was a great show. It was a really wonderful show, and I thought it was fantastic. But yeah, that last one, you know where the turning point was for me? I can tell you the exact episode where Lost jumped the shark. It was the episode where we got the backstory of the smoke monster. When we found out that what was the character name who was the representation of the island? What was his name again? He played Lucifer in Supernatural. But I forget but there was him and Black Smoke Monster were actually like brothers, and like it was that episode when we got the Smoke Monster's backstory went, oh yeah, now I'm checked out. And I know that wasn't the plan when they started this show.
No.
You know what I mean? So anyway. All right, what's next?
From Bobby Jackson, Rob, the Prey movie will receive a full dub in the Comanche language per comicbook.com.
Oh, yes, that's true. They're doing it there's going to be a full subtitling in the original Comanche language for the movie.
Wow.
Isn't that
okay.
cool?
Awesome.
I want to watch the movie. You know, somebody said, I heard something on NPR where there is a group that is dubbing movies, and I want to say they did it with Star Wars in native, in First Peoples languages.
That's
here
so cool.
in the United States. And I don't remember. I think it was Star Wars. And they dubbed the whole movie. I don't think it was Lakota, but some first...
You know, that was a story written in How Star Wars Conquered the Universe, which I think is the best Star Wars book ever about the history of Star Wars. And there's an entire, not an entire chapter, but there's a good chunk of one of the chapters that talks about how this local indigenous group, I think it was this, where they actually were able to have Star Wars dubbed into their language.
Yeah, they did it, but it took years.
Yes.
And they just finished it or something, and they showed it. And it was a story on NPR, and they talked to the guy who spearheaded the group. And I was like, great. I had no idea. Now I'm very excited. I'm going to watch Prey for the first time in the original, dubbed in that original language.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's what I want. I love that. I love that it's already happened. It's a reality.
One of the most creative ways I ever saw that, because listen, whenever there's a movie where the main characters and the main story takes place in a place that wouldn't have been English as the first language, they always do the movie in English.
Right.
But one of the most creative ones I ever saw done the way they handled it was Hunt for Red October.
Yep.
Where they start with Sean Connery and his crew, Sam Neill and whatever, speaking in Russian. And then as he's reading a Bible verse, they just
push into his face.
Push into his face, and all of a sudden he's speaking English. So we understand.
And the first word is Armageddon.
We just know, okay, they're speaking Russian, but for the sake of the movie, we're now going to hear them speaking English. That's a really creative way to do it.
You are absolutely, that is so brilliant. That device is such a brilliant, and it was great because it's in Russian for a while. And then they change when the political officer is in Sean Connery's cabin. Yep. It's great.
I would have liked to have seen Montana. All right, what's next?
From Raymond, what are the odds of Top Gun Maverick hitting #1 again at the box office? If it does any time in the future, you heard it here first.
Well, I mean, obviously it's not going to be this weekend. But I'd have to look at the release calendar about what's coming out. So it won't be this weekend and it won't be next weekend. But after that, I'd have to look at the calendar. So it's all dependent on what comes out Jurassic Park's third weekend. Because I think Jurassic World will hold the #1 spot for a second weekend. It's probably going to drop a lot, but it'll still probably be #1 because by that point, you're probably looking at The second weekend of Jurassic World, you're probably going to be looking at Top Gun making 40 or something. So, I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible. All right, what's next?
From Andrew. Hi, crew. Which of the Fantastic Four movies are your favorites? I'm counting the 94 one, too. Roger Corman, baby.
And by the way, somebody in the live chat, I think it was Joseph, one of our channel members, Joseph SFL, reminded me, Lightyear's coming out not long after that. So forget it.
Oh, that's the 17th.
Yeah. Top Gun, I don't think Top Gun will begin there again. Oddly enough, my favorite Fantastic Four movie was the most recent one, the one with Miles Teller. And the reason it is my favorite one is because the first act was actually pretty good. It fell apart after that. Yeah, it fell apart after that. But other than that, I can't point to any act in any of the Fantastic Four movies that I liked. I liked the first act of the most recent Fantastic Four movie. So on that basis alone, I will say that is my favorite one. What about you?
I liked Rise of the Silver Surfer only because the Silver Surfer was in it.
Yeah.
You liked it because of the Mr. Fantastic dance scene with the ladies.
Oh, that's
Why
okay.
was that a thing in the early audience?
How
Why were
bad
they
was
so
that?
on board with making heroes dance?
Yeah, none of the Fantastic Four movies have done it for me, but I did like seeing Silver Surf.
Do you have a favorite one?
No.
Just no. Just no. All right, what's next?
From Casey Mack. Hey, John and crew. Seems like you missed the topic about the Sandman today, since you said it was one of your topics today yesterday.
Yeah, I forgot
Have
about
you seen
that.
the trailer, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, listen. Here's what's going to be. This is the truth. People who know Sandman, like Rob here, are going to go, that trailer was great.
Yep.
Everybody else is going to be, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Right.
What am I looking at? Because it's, and I don't mean that as a slam on the, I don't know how you make a trailer to Sandman that will, in 2 minutes, convey to somebody who knows nothing about the property.
Yeah.
Like, that's not hard with Jurassic Park, man. There were dinosaurs. Now the dinos are back, and they're going to eat you. Okay? You can do, that's not hard. How you make a trailer for Sandman. So, yeah, listen, anybody who knows anything about Sandman, they're probably looking at that trailer going, yeah! Anybody who knows something is like, I have no idea what that is.
No,
What's
it's-
going on.
1,000%.
I think you're 100% right, and I knowing Salmon as well as I do, I don't know how you convey what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna even the first episode. The first episode, and it looks like they do the first episode of the comic or the first issue of the comic. Even that is not going to tell you what the show's about.
No.
I mean, you gotta get. It isn't even until issue 8 of the comic where you meet Death.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out.
That's because Neil Gaiman's just like, I'll introduce people to you when I want to.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, what's next?
From Jay Master, sending in a $50
Oh,
super
Jay
chat.
Master. Thank you, man. That's incredibly generous, man.
Do you believe that Marvel will have a panel at this year's Comic-Con on July 21st through 24th? Because shortly after D23 Expo starts September 9th through 11th, with all the movies and Disney Plus shows they have coming out to announce at D23.
You know what? That's a really good question. We are only about a month or so away now from Comic-Con. By the way, we're going to be at Comic-Con. I'm going to be doing a panel at Comic-Con. I'm not allowed to say what it is exactly or when exactly it is yet. I will let you know that once they tell me, we can reveal that information. But I'll be doing a panel at Comic-Con this year. I don't know. Look, on the one hand, I think, why not? Right? Why not go there? I mean, you don't have to reveal all your best stuff, but there's still going to be as a big crowd at Comic-Con. There's still going to be a lot of attention at Comic-Con, maybe not as much as in years past because we haven't had one in a few years. So it's going to take a while for them to get their momentum back. And unfortunately, Comic-Con International really dropped the ball in trying to do their digital thing. Like DC Fandom did a much better job doing the whole digital thing than Comic-Con did.
Yeah.
But why not? I mean, there have been previous years where we thought, well, they're not going to do something at Comic-Con because they got D23. And they did. I mean, that's where they announced Thor, Love and Thunder. That's where they brought Natalie Portman out on stage and Taika Waititi got down on one knee and handed her Mjolnir and whatever. So if I had to guess, I would say 40%. So if I had to bet $5 on it, I'd guess not. But there's a chance. I don't know, Rob, do you think we're going to see Marvel there?
I think, look, the only reason I would say yes is because everything is coming back after the pandemic. Comic-Con has been such a genre staple. It's been such a launch pad for so many things. I think they want this Comic-Con to be big and brash, and they want to make a splash and say, we're back, baby. And I think Marvel would have to be there.
They're under no obligation.
No, and that's the thing. I don't, maybe they won't be. It's wishful thinking because, look, the most fun I ever had at Comic-Con in a panel was the Hall H panel where Tom Hiddleston came out dressed as Loki. And they announced Age of Ultron.
And he shushed the crowd.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it was that presentation, and I've been going to Comic-Con since 1988. Before there was a Hall H, there was no Hall H. There wasn't even that extension of the convention center. As a matter of fact, when I started going, there was no convention center. So that was an amazing time. I'd love to see that happen again. I don't think it ever will, but I'd love to see Marvel come in and just, there was such excitement for their upcoming slate. They just dominated. And even I wanted them to announce the Age of Ultron, that I hoped that was what they were going to do. I didn't know. And when they announced it, dude, I cried. I cried then. I was like, yeah, that was the greatest panel ever. I'd love to see them do that again. Why not?
All right, what's next?
From Elizabeth Horado again. Even though Ted Lasso is ending with season 3, I'd rather it end on a high note than running it into the ground like many other shows. Maybe spin-offs? P.S. I want Beard to torture Nate. Same.
Okay, but here's the thing. Couldn't you have said that after Ted Lasso season 1?
Yeah.
Couldn't you have said that about Ted Lasso after season 2? Couldn't you have said that about, so yes, you could always say, I'd rather you end on a high note than run this into the ground. Okay, so cancel Breaking Bad after season 3. Just because you're on a high note now does not mean there's not more high note to come.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it. I've said that phrase myself. I just don't know. There just seems to be an assumption. You either end it now or Ted Lasso starts going downhill from here. And because Ted Lasso is such a character-centric show, I do not believe it would go downhill from here.
Yeah, because I think season 2 is much stronger because you dive into the characters here. You do explore Ted's background. You understand why he is the way he is and how someone that happy and joyful can have somebody leave them, right? And you understand everyone's perspective on it. You understand more about Hannah Wellington's character and Juno Temple's character. You could do so much more with this.
Yeah, I agree. All right, what's next?
From Calvin, big day for Rob and I. Tokyo Vice is renewed for season 2.
Yes.
Rob, what direction do you think they'll go in?
Well, I mean, it's based on a book. Tokyo Vice is based on a book I read. I thought it was great. I mean, it's not gonna turn into Game of Thrones, but I think you're gonna see more of the relationship between the Japanese underworld and the authorities, that was the most surprising part of the book, that it's not really a tacit approval, but the Yakuza and the authorities exist together in a continuum, and I would like to see them explore that even more.
All right, what's next?
From Moon.
Uh-oh.
Why can't Disney merge Searchlight Pictures, 20th Century Studios, and Hulu Studios into one movie studio company that just makes movies? Just like how Discovery and WB merged into WBD.
Why would you want to do that? What's the point of that?
Because it's confusing to the moon. The moon's confused, John.
I think it's great when you have different branches that focus on different things and can take different risks and handle different projects in different ways and stuff like that. I really just don't see that being a benefit. I don't see that being a good thing. Plus, you end up getting fewer movies. I don't think that would be a good move, and I certainly hope they don't do that. All right, what's
20th Century Studios is one of the great movie studios of all time with their logo and the music and the thing. And
so why merge that in with what they still have a mandate to make certain films and whatever. Other people can specialize in other things. I really don't see the benefit of trying to merge them together. That's just my take on it at any rate. All right, what's next?
From Fifi again. Rob, when you say Lincoln, you mean Lincoln the vampire killer, right?
No, I do not. I mean Abraham Lincoln, the president of the United States before he became a vampire.
Who killed vampires.
Look, I'll still say to this day, that movie could have been great.
I was so disappointed.
So was I. Oh. That movie could have been great. Mm-hmm. The problem is it
was made by a Russian.
It was done in such a way that it was spoof, and then it thought it was a real horror movie. And it had this duality of personality that just did not work, and it could have been great.
I agree with you.
All right, what's next?
From Graham Jones. Though I love it, I find the violence in Stranger Things 4 is TVMA rather than TV-14. How is Netflix getting away with this?
Look, I keep telling everybody all the time, whenever the discussion comes up about a movie's going to be PG-13, oh, that means it's for kiddies. You don't understand what will get you an R versus what will get you PG-13. Yes, when you watch Stranger Things, the new season, there is some horrific, graphic violence. You know what you don't see when the bones are snapping? Blood. As long as you don't do that, you're fine. And that's why I keep telling people, like, when something gets PG-13, there's still this wild misconception that if it's PG-13, that means it's toned down for families and kids. No, it just means there's not an excess of F-bombs, no titties, and, not when there big violent things happen, not a lot of blood splatter. And so
And also like that, the opening with 11, when you see all the dead bodies, you don't actually see it. You're seeing the aftermath.
Yes, you're seeing the aftermath. You're not seeing blood splatter all over the place.
I thought, Hopper being tortured is probably the worst of it all. And when you're watching fantasy violence, it's not like kids can recreate those snapping bones at home.
Yeah.
So,
But it is horrific. It
is horrific.
Yeah.
I love those deaths are some of my favorite deaths I've seen in movies.
By the way, Ann and I have caught up now. We finished episode 7, and I figured it out.
Yeah.
Right near the end of episode 6. I'm sure there were a lot of people probably figured it out earlier than that, but I figured it out near the end of episode 6, and it's a great twist. It's a great twist because too many shows try to throw in twists where you go, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense, but okay, it's a twist. Mm-hmm. This one, it's like, as soon as you realize what's going on, you're like, that totally connects. Everything makes sense.
Yeah.
What they're doing, again, I said it after just the first couple of episodes, and I really believe it now. This is the best Stranger Things has ever been.
Agreed.
It is their best season, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
All right, what's next?
From Amin, are you concerned that the showrunners on the Lord of the Rings show only had the rights to the main films and books and not other material like The Silmarillion?
No, I mean, listen, most shows don't have the rights to anything. Most shows come out and just come up with concepts and ideas and run with it. Look, we always knew with this Lord of the Rings show, there was going to be some pre-existing material they could draw from, and then they were going to have to create and come up with things to fill in the other gaps. That's fine. So no, that doesn't concern me at all. Otherwise, I'd be concerned about every original movie that ever gets made. Look, this Lord of the Rings film has as good or bad of a chance as being good or awful as anything else. But I just, right from like 3 years ago, when we started finding out all the different people that were behind the scenes on this project, I'm like, yeah, they've got the right people. They're approaching it the right way. They have the right philosophy. So it could end up being the worst show ever. Yeah, but I think it's got a really good chance to be wonderful. All right, what's next?
From Casey Mack, 1 of 2. Hey, John and Crew, there's a movie coming out from Paramount Plus on June 23rd I'm looking forward to. It stars 2 old animated teens that once used to watch MTV videos back in the day. Beavis and Butthead.
Yes. That's
right. I'm talking about those lovable knuckleheads, Beavis and Butthead. They're back and I wait to see their movie. Have you seen the trailer?
I'm wondering if there is an actual mathematical expression for how little interest I have in this. I got to admit, I am one of the guys, even though Beavis and Butthead sounds like something that would have been right up my alley. I think I watched 2 things of it when I was younger, and I've never watched anything of it again.
Come on, no frog baseball for you?
No, like, it's the same guy who did Office Space, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Mike Judge.
And great. He's also the same guy who did Idiocracy, if I'm not mistaken,
Yep.
right? Great stuff. But Beavis and Butthead, I never found even remotely funny. And I know that puts me in the vast minority. And it seems like something that, again, that would be right up my alley. But I've never been interested in Beavis and Butthead. So no, I didn't watch the trailer.
Mention that to Ann.
That I'm not a Beavis and Butthead
Yeah,
guy?
because she used to watch that show until like 1 a.m.
I'm not surprised.
Bring this up on your anniversary. Test her.
Yeah.
See if she truly loves
mine
you.
and Ann's anniversary weekend this weekend, by the
Ask
way.
her to
so.
do her Beavis impression. Just as soon as you get home today, go, Ann, do Beavis.
Does she do a Beavis
Yeah.
impression? How did...
Yeah, I don't know how she does it. I don't know how she does it, but she does it great. Just ask her.
So wait, am I to understand, because I haven't seen the trailer, this is actually about Beavis and Butthead grown up?
I saw some art from it before that they showed the original Beavis and Butthead and then their now older counterparts. Yeah.
Oh, I'll watch that. Because I watched a lot of Beavis and Butthead back in the day. If they're grown up, I'm curious to see where Mike Judge will take that. It is Mike Judge. Please tell me it's Mike Judge.
It's got to be, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
What's next?
Al Renshaw, hope Lord of the Rings doesn't turn into Dark Universe.
Yeah, like I said, it's great. We have 5 episodes, 5 seasons planned. That's great until the first one sucks. Let's hope it's good. All right, what's next?
From Adrian, Nacho Libre Movie Club. When y'all?
Again, I'll put myself in minority. I thought that movie was terrible. I didn't so much as, and I love Jack Black. I love Jack Black, but I'm one of the few people I know that, I went to the theater, watched Nacho Libre, and I think there was 1 or 2 moments that I laughed, but that was about it. And Jack Black makes me howl, but I did not like Nacho Libre.
It didn't do it for me.
I'm glad I'm not alone. Yeah.
And I love Jack Black too.
Everybody else seems to love that movie. All right, what's next?
From Stubble McShave, today Dave Filoni turns 48, Carl Urban turns 50. What? He looks so good. And Liam Neeson turns 70. Loved Liam on Life's Too Short, where he's a true master of improv comedy.
First of all, him doing improv comedy in that show was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's incredible. You know what's funny? I'm not surprised about Carl Urban because as I was rewatching Lord of the Rings Return of the King, and you're seeing Carl Urban, and I'm like, this movie's like 20 years old. And like you're seeing Carl Urban in there, right? It's like, yeah, I get, so yeah, happy 50th.
Well, he was like in Hercules and Xena playing multiple characters.
Well, yeah, in Xena, I think, what's Cupid? He was Cupid.
Yes, he was
He
Cupid.
was Cupid in Xena.
I
Yes.
go back.
And
You
wasn't
see
he
him in his,
blonde?
dressed like the blonde
Yeah,
hair,
yeah.
shirtless with his bow and stuff like that. And it's Carl Urban. Yep.
Man.
All right, what's next?
From Sam Fisher, if Hans Zimmer's Emperor theme from Dune Part 2 doesn't have a cowbell, what was even the point of casting Christopher Walken?
The spice is good, but it needs more cowbell. One of the most iconic Saturday Night Live sketches in all of history. The way Will Ferrell
That's pretty good.
just moved when he says, when Christopher Walken tells him, explore the space. And then in the next, you see Will Ferrell walking around. Like, this is still one of the greatest, funniest things ever. All right, what's next?
From John Wicked, just here to say hi.
Oh,
Hello.
well, hello. Thanks for checking in, man. All right, what's next?
From Hulk Smash Your Mom. Wow. Love the Prey trailer. The only thing is, I get if they can't talk Native American all movie, but at least first give them an accent, LOL, but overall love it.
Okay, so
Why?
here's the thing. I disagree. I always thought it was really weird. Again, all movies where the story takes place where English wouldn't be the language, but they're done in English so the audience can understand them. I have never understood the rationale of, well, okay, if it's Russians, you got to be a Russian accent. Why? They're not speaking Russian, so they must talk like this. No, you don't have to do that. So I am actually perfectly good. Like I as an audience member, I understand they wouldn't be talking English here, but they're speaking English. So we can think, why do they need to have an accent when they're doing it? So I'm perfectly good that it's not being, because guess what? If I was watching a subtitle, there's no accents in subtitles. So I'm okay with that. And by the way, I know you're not alone. There's probably a lot of people that feel the exact same way. I've always just kind of thought it was kind of odd to do that. So I don't know, Rob, what do you think?
Well, it depends. I mean, look, when you watched the Tom Cruise movie Valkyrie, all the Nazis are speaking with British accents.
Yeah.
And that seemed okay. I mean, there's mixing and matching. I think all the Imperial officers in Star Wars, all of them, should only speak with British accents. Because,
You know why they had British accents?
because they were British actors.
Because they were just British accents. I mean, that was it.
Even
To
Carrie
them, there
Fisher
was no
like,
accent.
Governor Tarkin, I expected to find you holding Vader's leash. I recognize your foul stench when I was
Because she
brought on
couldn't
board.
stop mimicking him, which
I
I
mean,
love.
it's just- I mean, it's so, but yes, it's weird. Although I have to tell you, I would have a problem if the Russians all spoke in American English. I mean, American accented English. It would be weird. But, it is, I don't disagree with our viewer. When you hear them first talking in that Prey trailer, she's like talking like a college student, and
I'm going to make a run to 7-Eleven.
Yeah, it's
Get
a little
Slurpee.
It's a little weird. It's just so,
All right, what's next?
From Christy George, my husband and I are calling Jurassic World Dominion not without my raptor.
Get it? Because Blue
I
has
can't
the
unsee that.
Blue has a youngin. I get it. Okay, that's
can't unsee
so
it.
far. That's the comment of the day right
that
there.
one was-
That's the
that's our
comment of the day right
aviation
now.
gin shot.
Yeah, there
All
we
right,
go.
what's next?
From Follow Rap on IG, do you remember your reaction to hearing Vader's "No" added in Return of the Jedi? It's so weird that Lucas added that.
I don't recall. No. I don't recall that.
In Return of the Jedi, is that?
Is that when Luke's gonna get the Emperor's doing that to?
It's
Yeah,
Revenge of the Sith that I always
Yeah, I
laugh
remember
at that one.
Revenge of the Sith, but I don't remember that being in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh, at any rate. All right, what's
Not,
next?
not even into the special editions
No.
that they re-released?
Not that I
Nothing
can
like that?
remember.
Okay.
I never watched those special editions anymore.
Oh, they're so bad.
I
Well,
never
you know,
watched.
look, I'll take the back. There are a couple of things in the special editions, as much as I bag on them, that are actually pretty good. The Bespin Skyline stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh,
Stuff
yeah.
that adds to the feel
More
of the
Banthas and
environment.
Jedi when Jabba's
Yeah.
sail barge goes by.
There's certain things that add to the feel of the environments, and then there's things that were just like for no reason, front and center in the camera.
Sad
Like,
Jabba.
well, yeah, the Jabba stuff was rough. That was rough, but the worst was Jedi Rocks. I mean, the rock scene that's put, I'll never forgive them for doing that. Like, and changing the perfect Ewok song at the end of the movie.
People in the chat are saying in Return of the Jedi, they did add the no when Palpatine is killing Luke with the lightning.
Oh.
Oh, maybe I didn't
Maybe-
see that.
maybe in the
Maybe I
TV
didn't see
version.
that.
Oh, you
That
know.
might have been one of
because
the
he's
latter.
made changes.
That
Yeah.
might have been one of the latter changes that I just never bothered watching.
think they
I
burned
only-
you guys
I only ever
Blu-rays
watched
the original version.
I think they did that again. He was like, no.
See, one of the few things that I
No.
still have on physical media is the original Star Wars. Like that's it. So that's really the only one I watch. All right, what's next?
From Fredo.
Fredo!
Hey, awesome people. John, they announced Justin versus Dustin 2 in August. It's going to be another bloodbath.
Those are two of the most exciting fighters in the world. They both lost to Nurmagomedov. They both lost to the current reigning lightweight champion. They're just the two guys. I really hope Khabib comes out of retirement and takes that belt back. I really hope he does. But that will be a great fight there too. I love both of those fighters. They're fantastic. All right, what's next?
From Jerome, think Hulu will do a Terminator movie?
Don't laugh.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
50%. Like if this movie goes great, maybe.
But I don't think they have the rights. I don't think Terminator is owned by, it's Paramount now.
Oh, do they got it?
Skydance,
You're right. You're right.
Skydance owns
You're right.
Paramount.
All right,
Owns
what's
the
next?
Terminator franchise.
From,
Sorry, I'm just trying to locate. This is what happens when you guys send a lot of super chats in. Here we go.
okay, from Thomas BDL, 1 of 4, ambitious.
Good luck. I don't know.
Hi, John and team.
I have the rest too.
You do?
So,
Okay,
yeah.
yay. Hi, John and team. One of the reasons Ted Lasso only has 3 seasons is because Jason Sudeikis has to be away from his family for several months every... Take it away, Ray.
Wait, are you at 2 or 3?
2.
2.
Okay. Well, I don't have 2. I only have 3 and 4.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. He's right here. Here.
We don't have it. There we go.
There. Year to shoot in the UK. I have a dream theory. Roy has been lost ever since he was retired, and it looks like he and Keeley are splitting up. What?
If season 3 ends with him moving to the U.S. to try his luck at coaching American football, some of the cast could still show up, including Ted, and Brett Goldstein would be able to shine and flex his well-deserved Emmy. Ted Lasso would come to an end, but Roy Kent would be born.
Yeah, no, you can't do it the other way around. You can't send somebody who doesn't know anything about American football to go and coach American football.
Yeah.
So you can't do that. I mean, I've heard Jason Sudeikis talk about that, but you can do changes to the show and make it work for the performers and the actors and still focus on the characters. So
Yeah.
I still think Apple's going to fight to find a way, I think. All right, what's next?
From Scotty Hale. Speaking of comedies, has anyone watched the Brockmire TV series? It stars Hank Arias. It is so funny, and the whole story is well written. The story is well written.
I don't know who Hank Arias is.
Hank
Did you mean
Azaria?
Hank Azaria?
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh yeah, no, I've never seen it. Is that the one where he was a play-by-play baseball
haven't seen it.
play-by-play guy?
I have no idea.
I know he was doing a show like that, but I couldn't remember the name of it. But no, so clearly we haven't watched that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, it does look like it. It was like he's playing an announcer.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I think I saw a teaser for it years ago, but I never did see it. Unfortunately, it's too bad too because I really do like
I
Hank
love
Azaria.
Azaria.
All right, what's next?
Don J. Good news. HBO Max is heading back to Japan. Tokyo Vice renewed for season 2. Probably my favorite new show of 2022.
I've still never watched a single episode.
It's really good. Michael Mann directed the first
I've
episode.
heard
great.
it's great. So I think I will probably try to sit down and give it a watch, but maybe not until after The Boys and
Yeah.
Ms. Marvel.
It's
and-
good. It's much more grounded in reality, but it's really, really good.
All right, what's next?
From Allison, how is Ewan McGregor's dog, Sid? Are we all that friendly with Ewan?
I haven't talked to Ewan since he came over for that barbecue, but no,
Yeah.
I no idea.
There
All
might
right.
be a joke there we're missing.
Yeah, maybe some going over our head. All right, what's
Yeah.
next?
From Zashan, with how big Lord of the Rings is, we may not see season 5 in 10 years.
Bye.
Well, because it takes so long to make. It's been
Oh, but they are they're already shooting season 3, I think, right now, if I'm
okay,
not
well, then,
mistaken.
yeah.
So yeah, I think they're rolling pretty well. All right, what's next?
From AFAW, sending in a $30
Oh,
super
thank
chat.
you, Afa.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for the years of content. The studio is awesome, and the transition with Jonathan running the show behind the scenes has been seamless from a fan's perspective. Well done.
I'll
Yay,
tell you
Yeah,
what.
from
Like
my
somebody,
perspective, it's been seamless too.
so
Taskmaster.
So here's the thing. Like a lot of people ask me all the time, what's your favorite part about being in the new studio? And it really is the fact that Jonathan can be the producer of the show now. Like you have no idea how taxing it would be. Like after every show, I would just want to collapse because you're trying to run the cameras and the audio, the graphics, the transitions, all that kind of stuff. Also while being completely focused on the show and hosting the show at the same time. I really didn't like doing that. And the fact that we had the space now that we just didn't have any space for him to come in and do it when we were in my garage. But now that we have the space and he can be over there and focus exclusively on that and run it the way that he does, and I can just focus on being present in the show and all that kind of stuff. It's my favorite thing. So thank you so much for that. It's the best thing to me about having the new studio. All right, what's next?
From Tyler, does the success of Top Gun Maverick make you more excited for the Twister reboot?
Nope, one has absolutely nothing to do with the other. So yeah, no, they're doing a
Where's the
Twister
connection
reboot.
there?
Yeah, that's been thrown out there talking about doing a Twister reboot. But again, one movie has nothing to do with the other. So no. All right, what's next?
From Anime 38, what do you guys think of Henry Cavill's fan cast picks going around as Lion-O for the new Thundercats movie done by a guy named Samu Karts? He would look perfect. And maybe Vin is Panthro.
Okay, so here's the thing. Anybody will look perfect if a certain artist does it a certain way.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you all know Henry's my boy, right? I am one half of the Campea Cavill bromance. He just doesn't know about it. But, I love him, but anybody would look perfect if an artist did him up a certain way. So, and Vin Diesel has been Panthro ever since that little fan that I showed you for the first time the other day. There was a fan-made Thundercats trailer made about 15 years ago with Brad Pitt as Lion-O, Vin Diesel as Panthro. Who was Chitara?
I can't
Oh, it was the girl from that sci-fi show. What was that?
Was it Gigi Edgley from Farscape?
It was from Farscape. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Hugh Jackman as Tigra.
Yeah.
It was all this
It was
kind of stuff.
great.
But, yeah, but again, the fan-made stuff. What do you think about a fan-made? Well, anybody can look like the role. It really doesn't
Also,
mean anything,
like,
though.
Henry loves The Witcher, and that was his, like, fanboy casting thing
Yeah.
that he got, right? James McAvoy wants to be in Thundercats
So
so
bad.
badly.
Yeah.
Let him do that. He'd be great.
All right, what's next?
From Corey Hens. Is this the part 3 that
Yeah,
we
that
were
was
missing
the
before?
third part that we kind of addressed. but you
Okay,
can go
here
ahead
we
and
go,
read it.
Corey. I find myself revisiting it every couple years. I still tear up at parts, including the final moments. Rob, I have the Pyramid Blu-ray box set.
I forgot what movie we were talking about.
What movie?
Come on, Rob. It's a
The
pyramid
box
set.
that I was thinking, is that like a Stargate thing?
I was just
I
the
don't
only thing I
remember.
can think, but we haven't been talking about Star. Now I can't remember what it was about.
Pyramid Blu-ray box set. I
Oh, is that Gods of Egypt? No.
Gods of Egypt.
I have the 3D version of Gods of Egypt on Blu-ray. I make no apologies. I don't know what box set it is, what pyramid box set it is.
Oh,
I mean,
now I
the
can't remember.
Nakatomi box set. That's
All right, what's next?
From Anime 38. Oh, we did that one. From Trevor. With Jurassic Park being one of my top 10 of all-time favorite movies, I'm so disappointed in the current state of the franchise. Should they take a long break?
I think they're done. I honestly, even if this movie was great, I think they were done. And by the way, I am a defender of the Jurassic World movies. I mean, none of them has been as good as the original Jurassic Park, obviously, but I've enjoyed I've enjoyed the Jurassic World movies. So I'm bummed out to hear about this thing too, but I think it's done. There's nothing left to do until you bring in the brain Velociraptor, who's like, who's like got his own pinky. Tonight we take over the world.
Yeah.
Like I don't see where else you go. Like you put it really well the other day, Rob. We were talking about it's like the idea is the heroes try not to get eaten. That's the description of every Jurassic World in a Jurassic Park movie. It's run its course. It's time to move on. All right, what's next?
From XG, John, where's that Barney movie that was supposed to subvert expectations?
Oh, it did exactly what I suspected it would do. It ain't going to happen. There's no way that was going to move beyond concept to
So
actual
what you're saying is
execution.
it didn't subvert your expectations. It played right into what you thought was not going to happen.
It subverted their expectations. So they expected that to get made. Yes. Expectations subverted. All right, what's next?
Oh, the movie Pyramid box set. Is that what that guy was talking about? Someone in the chat.
Yeah,
should put that
it's
there.
for Lost.
For
okay.
Lost. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a beautiful box set. I didn't realize it was the.
And also, someone points out the director of Maverick is doing the Twister reboot.
Joseph
Oh.
That's
Kosinski?
why.
Joseph
That's why
Kaczynski.
that-
Right.
Oh,
right.
okay.
No, still the same director, but no.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens.
Yeah.
This time the tornadoes have sass.
The tornadoes are now we will take over the world. The
This time
tornadoes
it's
now going to be
personal.
brain
Boy,
tornadoes.
it's you've been a
That's when
tornado
you cross
for
over
36 years.
Fast and the Furious. That's what you bring Vin Diesel
Tornadoes, the
into.
wind has become self-aware. Oh, actually, there is a movie where wind is self-aware. What's his name made it? With,
Yeah, The Happening.
The
The
Happening.
Happening. What
Yep.
a
The
God.
best
The
movie.
Sham Hammer.
It was so
Shut up.
good.
The wind.
best-
Oh,
Shut up.
The best movie
ever.
It's that and The Terminal for you?
Yeah.
I have to tell you though, I read the script for The Happening before I saw the movie, and I loved it. I thought it was creepy and weird, and I was like this. When I saw the movie, I'm like, what happened?
What?
I have never seen a movie. What
They're literally
I
running
didn't
from the
believe
breeze.
one word that came out of.
Do you know
Mark Wahlberg's
Soul
mouth.
likes that movie too,
I
right?
like that's
Soul
why
likes
me
it
and
too.
Soul have a connection.
Yeah.
Because
All
we're
right.
like the happening.
That was so disappointing.
All right, we got to keep moving
Okay,
here. What's
all right.
next?
From Sam Fisher. Both Obi-Wan and Ms. Marvel are tonight, but I'm only going to watch one on the East Coast and would rather watch 30 minutes of Ms. Marvel than the 50-minute Obi-Wan.
I mean, it's a Sophie's choice, right? Because you got Ms. Marvel, the new Marvel thing. You got Obi-Wan playing. So I'm going to watch Obi-Wan because that's the first open spoiler discussion we have to do tomorrow. And then I will watch Ms. Marvel sometime during the day tomorrow. So I'm going to watch Obi-Wan tonight. But yeah, there's no wrong answer. No wrong answer. All right, what's next?
From Al Renshaw. Who wins, Toretto versus Predator?
If listen, you guys know I love me Vin Diesel. He's my boy. But if Vin Diesel's producing it, Vin Diesel beats Batman. Vin Diesel beats Superman.
Hey, like Samson,
Dominic
we saw him
Toretto.
pull down a ceiling in the last Fast and the Furious.
I
movie.
will never get over that when I'm like, wait a minute. He's not going to say Dominic is literally able to pull down this concrete structure with, yep, that's what he's doing. He's pulling the whole thing
Samson.
down
He's Samson
with
man.
his arms. All right, what's next?
The Power of Family. Whoa. From Ben Reiner, $20.
Oh,
Or Rainer,
thank you,
excuse me.
Ben.
Hi, John and crew. I like the idea that Rings of Power has a plan. Something I wish Star Wars sequels had a plan. They could make changes to details as they go along. It makes sense by the end of the 5th season. I'm excited.
I mean, ultimately, look, everybody knows I straight up love The Force Awakens. I love that movie. I think it's the best Star Wars movie other than the original trilogy. Problem is, you can only get so far without a plan. That they will just wing it. You might get away with that for a bit, but just winging it, you start to show the cracks in the armor. And you started to see it in not The Rise of Skywalker, but The Last Jedi. Now, I still liked The Last Jedi, but there were some big problems there. And then you got into The Rise of Skywalker. And by then, like, all the flaws of not having a fucking plan comes to fruition, and you end up with the hot steaming pile of garbage that you ended up with The Rise of Skywalker. And like, that's what happens. Like, listen, you don't have to write out every single line of dialogue, but at least know your story. Where is this going? And the fact, to me, other than the fact that she has not properly vetted and made sure that her and her filmmakers are on the same page before starting a project, the biggest failure Kathleen Kennedy has had, and she has had some big wins too. Like, don't be ignorant and pretend like she hasn't had some big wins. She's had some big wins. But other than the not being on the same page with her filmmakers, her single biggest failure was going into the new trilogy, allowing it to even begin without understanding where it was going and having a plan and knowing what we were going to do. And again, winging it, you can you can get by at first. And again, I love The Force Awakens. Love it. Me and Schnepp went to go see that thing like 5, 6, 7 days in a row. And we would go watch it across the street, and we loved it more and more every single time we saw it. But once you got to start paying those debts, once you have to start paying off the things you said you were setting up, and then you realize we didn't actually know what we were going to do. The audience is going to see that too. And it fell apart. So yeah, I kind of like that they got a plan for the Lord of the Rings films. Or the Lord of the Rings show, I should say. I kind of do. All right, what's next?
From Victor. 2 of 2? Do we have the first one?
We don't have the.
Oh,
we
okay,
only
so
got
just
that.
this one, Victor. Seems exactly like The Mandalorian, with the stuntmen doing like 95% of the stuff. I understand it's just frustrating with all the marketing of Hayden being in the suit. Oh, so Hayden is Vader.
Yeah, again, we don't have the part 1, so I'm not quite sure what's going with
Yeah.
that. But yeah, listen, that was one of the things we knew watching Mandalorian. It's not actually him in the suit. There were 2 different stuntmen. They had a stuntman who was particularly trained in Western gunfighting, and then they had a stuntman for doing physical combat. And 90% of The Mandalorian, that's who you see. But you know what? It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
No.
The magic of the movies, to us, that was Pedro Pascal. That was Din in that suit. And it works. So that's perfectly fine. And whether or not it's Hayden Christensen in the suit is completely irrelevant. I mean, apparently it is him in the suit, and that's great. But if it wasn't, it wouldn't hurt the show at all. So I'm okay with it. All right, what's next?
From Mr. 47, is the second Nope trailer coming anytime soon? The movie is out next month.
I thought I just got a notification in my email saying they're about to drop another trailer for Nope.
Ooh.
So
They are.
I mean, I think I did. Anyway, I would expect one within the next week. I expect one within
I'm
the
really
next
looking
week.
forward to it.
Yeah, so am I. I'm like really excited. I'm hoping this is more Get Out than it is Us. But
Yeah.
I mean, the trailers so far, they got me hooked. All right, what's next?
From Graham White, I've been watching since the Justice League 2017 Comic-Con trailer reaction when I was just 13 years old. And next year, I'm going to NYU to study film production.
Oh,
All right,
wow.
Graham.
That's awesome, man. Like, well, you know, we heard from somebody else recently who was about to go to NYU. Did we not?
The Tisch School of the Arts.
That's right. So, I mean, that is awesome. Congratulations on chasing your dream, man. And that's no joke. That NYU
Which is the
no
same
joke.
thing.
Is
I
that
think.
also the Tisch
Isn't
School?
it?
Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
the sub school within
Yeah,
the
yeah,
university,
yeah.
right? Yeah, so good luck with that, man, and I hope you do well and enjoy yourself. All right, what's next?
Maybe they can team up. Our viewers can team up.
From Chill Level TV, you can only choose one. The rest are gone forever. Star Wars, Star Trek, MCU, or Lord of the Rings.
Nope, pass. I mean, a lot of people throw these at me, and
Hard
like,
no.
when are people going to learn that? I'm just going to say, nope, pass. I mean, look, obviously, if I had to, obviously I'm keeping Star Wars. Obviously, I'm keeping Star Wars. But fortunately, I don't live in a reality where I have to make that choice. So, and we already know what Rob is going to answer. So,
Well,
that's no
I
secret.
see. The question to me is flawed because to me, Star Trek was a TV show, Star Wars was movies, and what
Think
they
of them as IPs.
what they became later. Yes, but I would say that yeah, I would probably there's just more of Star Trek than everything else.
Right.
So if you keep Star Trek, you've got 13 feature films, you've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of TV episodes.
That's
so
true.
there's more
You get a lot of
entertainment
stuff.
value. A lot more.
All right, guys. And that'll do it for today. Oh, wait, I
Wait,
forgot.
wait. I just got 3 member chats. Really
Okay,
quick.
from our members of the
Yeah.
channel.
Okay, so Ledrick Fowler says Peacemaker Explosion Episode 1 versus The Boys Explosion Season 3 Episode 1.
What was the explosion again in episode one of Peace?
Isn't it the woman that he
Oh yeah, when
Oh,
he used
yeah.
the helmet.
yeah.
Oh yeah. No, the boys.
Yeah, the boy.
Yeah.
The boys is so much more.
That one.
And
So-
then Future Millionaire says, awesome show, guys. Have my ticket for Jurassic World for Thursday night and Sunday. My most anticipated movie of the year.
I hope it works out for
I
you.
hope you love it.
And
And
again,
then-
listen, again, I don't want to make it sound like it's been across the board negative reactions. There have been some really good. Perry Nemiroff, as a matter of fact,
Yeah, she liked
wrote
it.
in that she actually quite liked it a lot. There are some positive ones. Hopefully, the movie hits you in the right way because
I
I'd
want to
hate for you to
cry,
have to
but
lose
for all
your
the right
ticket.
reasons.
And then the last one we have is from Calvin Severo Pano. Okay, he says, hey, John, Jurassic World opened in Brazil last Wednesday. First movie in a long time I wanted to walk out mid-movie. I suggest to my friends, they answered, we paid for babysitter. We are suffering. You will suffer with us.
I love your friends.
Some of you will suffer with us.
Wow.
Yeah, not great things to hear, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
And thank you to you guys for sending that in. Those of you guys who are members of our channel, we appreciate the lot. And guys, that will do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here, making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the super chats. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so much for your support. And so, guys, don't forget to join us again a little bit later today for our movie club episode as we cover one of the greatest films ever made, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. That'll be at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time later today. We hope you guys will come and join us for that. And of course, don't forget, tomorrow the John Campea Show returns. We've got an Obi-Wan after show. We've got a Ms. Marvel after show. Lots of stuff going on here around the channel today. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys, to keep up to date on all the things that we're doing. So everybody, for Robert Meyer Burnett, Chris Carr, Ray Ora, producer Jonathan Voico, and myself, John Campea, that'll do it for us for now, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.